All right. Welcome, everyone. Watching the Gabriel Speaks podcast. And we have Eric Hecker in the house. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic, Gabe. How you doing today?
Very well. Very well. Always nice when you join us.
It's a lot of fun.
Happy. Yeah, I'm so happy you're here because we're going to get into this Lacatski guy. And apparently he has a history in directed energy weapons. Have you
interesting.
Heard this?
I have not, actually. I'm really excited about this conversation because I'm coming into it kind of cold. So I think it'll be great to get fresh info and react accordingly. And if he's got some intel on directed energy weapons, I'm uber interested.
Well, apparently he spent a big part of his career on directed energy weapons. So far, I've been able to mainly link him to lasers, but that doesn't mean he wasn't involved. I mean, I would imagine if you work in that field, you probably, I don't know. Maybe they have you working on other projects. Maybe they have it all stovepiped. It's hard to tell anymore.
Freaking laser beams.
Freaking sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads. But yeah, so he did this interview with Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. I'm sure you heard about this. It was
I heard
all
it occurred.
over UFO Twitter. Yes, it was basically, it's a big deal because he's the gentleman that ran AARO before Kirkpatrick when it was legitimate. I don't even know if it was called AARO at that point, but very high level clearance, is very careful about what he says. And you get that from his interviews, but being as careful as he is about what he says, he still said he breached the hull of a UFO.
He did?
Yes. As part of a team. Now, Eric Davis, in another interview, said he was there and that Dr. Lacatski actually went inside. Dr. Lacatski will not say that. He says, I was cleared to say we breached the hull of this UFO.
I think it's more of a we thing than a he thing. I mean, seriously.
Right. It's obviously it's going to be a team of these guys. And it sounds like Eric Davis was there.
Well, that's what I just think when I hear this stuff is it almost sounds to me like they're trying to take credit for the work other people did. I mean, first, it's like when the boss shows up on the job site and the customer's there and the boss is like, look what I did. And you're like, and you're on the crew doing the work. And you're like, okay, boss, you haven't touched a tool in 20 years.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah.
So that's what the boss does. That's what he's good at, showing up at just the right time to take the credit.
So I mean, just even hearing these statements gives me great pause. Even, like I respect that you said that AARO was good at the time, but I mean,
I have no idea.
Right. Like, what are the measurements for this? And
the other thing is that we're looking at, and we're going to look at, this is all documentation that, they made. So,
right. and I am admittedly biased and jaded when it comes to AARO. So I'm totally firing from that angle where I'm like, oh yeah, it was, the good AARO crew. It's like when the OSS brought the Operation Paperclip Nazis over, and they're like, these are the good Nazis.
These are the good Nazis. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. And I think that if anyone researching this is serious about it, we thought what we wanted AARO to do is not what they did. And that's why people are pissed off at AARO, because they said they were going to investigate this with an open mind and use like the scientific method. And it was just Project Blue Book all over again.
Right.
It was just Hynek going to these spots and saying, nope. I mean, that's all it was.
Yeah.
But Kirkpatrick was the new Hynek. He had the glasses and everything.
I can't speak for everyone's testimony and what became of it, but I can speak for my testimony, and I know what I told them, and I know they lied about my testimony in their public summary report when they said that there were no reports of any Havana. I'm sorry, they said there were reports of Havana syndrome symptoms being reported by victims from every continent except for Antarctica.
Yep.
So I know they lied about that.
And you have done, like, it is crazy. You've gone above and beyond to make people aware of these DEWs. Like, thank you as a citizen, first off, and more people need to understand like the lengths that you have gone just to fire up a flare, and say, hey, careful. Like, we got
I think
stuff.
It's kind of funny, Gabe, that everyone seems to think that my testimony became public in June of 23, and I think AARO suffers from that level of ignorance too because of the statements they made publicly after I testified with them. It was like, I was already public for years saying this stuff. So the fact that they went public and said that no one's ever told us that, it's like, guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And you find it over and over with them again. Similar stories from other folks that have interacted with them. Like, I didn't say that, you'll have folks accusing them of flat out lying. So, Yes, I have that AARO report. We're not going to go through it because
Mhm.
honestly, I started going through that one where they're just like bullshit, bullshit. And it was, I don't look, I'm too old to really get fired up, but it was starting to bug me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to close it
Mhm.
out and be like, I'm going to have to go back to that because
Mhm.
these guys are on a mission and it
Mhm.
is to just discredit the whole thing.
Mhm.
Um, and it's so funny because like the truth is probably somewhere in the middle there, right? Like, I don't think that it's like Nordic aliens. I don't know, just a hunch. But I also know that it's not just our tech and nothing else to it. You know, I like as
I
far
think
as
it's
the UFO
mostly our tech.
subject goes.
Like, I'm not against there being other stuff in the cosmos,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it really looks like
Our
we
stuff.
humanity has this tech, has had it for a long time, and it's
Yeah.
my belief that there's just a lot of factions that are fighting to be king of the mountain,
Right.
and of course, they don't want to let that cat out of the bag. Because then
And you
everybody's gonna be like, well,
see,
if you guys all have the tech and you're fighting with it,
yeah.
shouldn't we have access to it?
Well, and you see glimpses of it, right?
Hmm.
Like they showed us a glimpse of aerogel, but then they didn't really show us any of the cool shit they were doing with it, right? Like a couple
Right.
cool things, like a NASA radar and like a couple other things, or satellite receiver, a couple other things they made with. But the real cool shit they were doing with aerogel, they weren't. We don't know it.
I
They could
think
have
there's
flying Tic Tacs around. It could be theirs,
there
100%.
I think there are, but they're just being misrepresented. So there was a company up here in Alaska that I applied to, hell, probably 10 years ago, that was
Mm-hmm.
advertising that they were looking to get a company off the ground that was with these massive, the heavy lift ships that look like giant blimps,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
out there.
could it be made of aerogel? Could it have an exotic propulsion system? Could it have
Absolutely.
some magnetic field that impulses around it? And now this, what we believe is a blimp, right, for heavy lift purposes,
Mm-hmm.
they could be lying. Like, it doesn't mean that it goes slowly.
Yep.
It's technically already
Absolutely.
shaped like a Tic Tac. It's a big white Tic Tac shaped blimp for heavy lifting,
There
which you
you
don't
go.
see big wonking propellers hanging off of the old school, like the old
Yeah.
school ones. So it's like they tell you a little bit, but not everything. What moves this
Yes.
thing? How does this big, massive sail not just get pushed by the wind?
Right. Right.
You
And
know?
or others like stem cells. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We know stem cell research is out there. We know
Mm-hmm.
it's like a thing. We know rich people can go get their knees fixed
Yep.
after they're blown out
Mm-hmm.
with them. But other than that, uh, I mean, what do you know about stem cells and what they can do?
I'm not quite sure. Well, I know that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff put on the table for it,
I
but
I know one thing. Some of these rich older people are looking pretty youthful these days. I'll
yeah, I think
tell
they
you
call that
that.
adrenochrome. It's a cure-all drug.
Well, there's that too,
It's
right?
better than tussin.
Oh man, I tried to do an episode on adrenochrome. I got about a quarter of the way through, and then some breaking news happened. I forget what it was, but
Hmm.
that is a interesting concept. Do you think that's real? The
I think there's
adrenochrome?
something to it. I think there's just too
Yeah.
much peculiarity amongst the rich, and as horrible as it might sound, um, I believe there's people that are out there that if this was true, they'd have
Yeah.
no problem doing it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we have seen the depths that people will go
Hmm.
in the name of their own vanity and
In the
best
name of their own
interests and
pockets. I mean,
their own
lest we
pockets.
think,
Yeah.
presidents of nation states, if they'll bomb women and children on the other side of the, imaginary geographical line, like, we'll bomb those women and children and we'll make money. But,
Right.
if you're on this side of the line, dude, we are here to protect you. Trust us.
You could vote for me. So
Yeah, it's
yeah, I'm with you, buddy. It is interesting where we draw that line, that moral
mhm.
line. Um, And to bring it back to Lacatski, you spend a long time in DEWs. Do you think they let the developers see the mess that they make?
I believe they probably try to compartmentalize them from the actual carnage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to make a new layout here. It's not too bad, huh? So we can kind of see the slides. So now this is an old document. This is the reason I point to this is about, it has Lacatski, it has the aspects we're talking about, Lacatski, Aerospace, but it also points to DEWs in this document.
Okay.
So this is Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Applications Contract Update. Now this is interesting too. I have seen confidential and secret documents. I have never seen anything marked unclassified.
I was just looking at that. It says this briefing classified, unclassified. Well, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
Oh, okay. They put that header there as it's okay, so they have to put it in there. All right. So that's not as weird.
Unclassified.
All right. Yeah, I didn't notice the header. I was like, why would they just put unclassified? Okay, so supplemental appropriation test to study foreign advanced aerospace weapon threats from the present out to 40 years in the future. $10 million fiscal year 08. Funds provided in the appropriation. Bigelow Aerospace won the contract to study 11 technical areas. Emphasis is on unconventional technologies.
It begs the question, where's the document from 40 years ago that was talking about the work for the next 40 years?
Oh, God, right? It's in space, Eric, at the moon base. So this is so this was a DIA briefing, obviously. So this is a bunch of guys sitting in a room looking at this presentation that get to write the checks probably. Aerospace contract status, performance by Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies, BASS. And I mean, we probably all can close our eyes and see the picture of the cover of that BASS report, has been excellent. And they're in full compliance with aerospace contract, names out the contract number. Let's see, 12 project management plans received and executed. Well, I can tell you, I'm 20 credits away from my degree in project management. And 12 out of 12 is pretty damn good.
I like the next line.
Yeah, 26 detailed reports, twice the minimum requirement, received by 30 June 09. Reviews of reports have been overwhelmingly positive. DIA has executed option year 1 with BASS subject to available funding.
So I find that line, 26 detailed research reports, twice the minimum requirement received by June 30. That's really interesting. So It sounds cool, right? They're getting double their money's worth. We're getting twice
all the output,
the minimum required. Okay, so again, I keep telling folks that the government's the client, the manufacturers and the research folks are basically in charge. Okay,
right.
So they apparently did 13 extra detailed research reports with the funding provided. And that's 13 extra reports that they provided. Does that mean, Gabe, that there's not 13 more that they didn't provide since they doubled the minimum requirement already? Doesn't that mean that they can cherry pick? Right?
Well, it was overwhelmingly positive.
If they did 50 reports, right? If they did 50 reports and 10 of them found the most outrageous stuff in the world, they don't have to hand it over. They hold on to those, stick it in their back pocket, and then they give them twice the junk that they paid for.
Right. Which
it's stated earlier above that they're in full compliance.
And Robert Bigelow would love that.
This is what I keep this is almost like proving previous suggestions that I've made is that the government is the client, and they suffer getting the product that the manufacturer decides to give them.
Yeah. This was almost 20 years ago now, Eric.
Yep.
Can you believe that?
Yes.
My God. Okay. And yes, Robert Bigelow, if you don't think he would love a piece of leverage over old Uncle Sam, you don't know Robert Bigelow. Okay. 12 million for the continuation of this contract by, can't read that date, is in the FY10 defense budget. Okay. So it budgeted for it. Contracting officer. Okay, so this appears to be just a summary of the Bass report. 2 technical report review results. Okay, so now we're getting into the. Did that say warp drives? Hold on.
It's a little small for me.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna open up the main one here so I can actually see this thing. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. This I am going to go through this because this is really interesting. Technical report review results. Inertial electrostatic confinement fusion. Pulse power based weaponry. Space-time modifications for spaceflight applications. Novel MEMS-based biosensors. Theory and experiments of invisibility cloaking, wormholes in space-time, gravity wave communication, superconductors and gravity research, anti-gravity for aerospace applications, field effects on biological tissues. Positron aerospace propulsion, vacuum energy applications, improved statistical approach to the Drake equation. Maverick versus corporate research cultures, biosensors and biomems, metamaterials for aerospace, warp drives, controlling devices without limb-operated interfaces, materials for advanced aerospace platforms, metallic glasses, programmable matter, metallic spintronics, high-energy laser weapons, quantum entanglement communications, space access, where been, where go, advanced nuclear propulsion for deep space.
So quantum entangled communications, I said, is at the South Pole. What was the other one? Controlling devices without limb-operated interfaces. So that's what brain direct control.
Yeah, we know we've got that.
I mean, this list is like off the wall of wild
this
tech.
Next one, invisibility. Theory and experiments of invisibility cloaking. This topic still evokes misunderstanding and confusion. Report does an excellent job of clearing some of this confusion, providing clear definitions of what constitutes true cloaking and visibility. It also honestly discusses technological challenges, blah, blah, blah.
I just turned on my cloaking device, Gabe. You can't see me anymore. You can hear me, but I'm cloaked out now. All right, I'm back.
This is unreal. I mean, could you imagine you're sitting in a briefing room at the DIA and you're just getting your first cup of coffee down and this is what you're looking at. Holy shit.
Right. So are we going to believe that this was the full-blown start of it? Nobody was doing anything before this date. And now 20 years later, have they accomplished nothing? Was that money all wasted, just thrown in the money hole? Or did they accomplish stuff? I mean, come on.
It's hard.
You can't be investing in stuff for decades, covering it up, Yeah. Where's the papers that say all of this money was completely wasted and nothing became of it? Because if that was the case, it wouldn't be secret, right?
We're not getting that paper from the government.
Right, because it doesn't exist, because the technology's flying around all over the place with mind-operated spaceships and MEMS weapons and micro-pulsed beams. And I mean...
Okay, so what we're looking at, this article is from Military Magazine, which is a great magazine. it's I remember when I was stationed in the military, it's all over the post. It's yeah, it's a thing. So from that article, this is an article about legit military guys covering this UFO thing. And I'm just going to go ahead and read it. So as the stigma over flying saucer talk lifts and the military connection has taken UFOs mainstream, some have become more open about those beliefs. And this is a quote. People say, well, we're only going to look at the nuts and bolts machines. Well, you better come up with a lot of physics. It's far more advanced than we're capable of now, said James Lacatski, a now retired DIA intelligence officer who set up the UFO program that ran from 2008 to 2010. And then there's others who say, well, they're nothing more than ghosts, part of the paranormal world. No, they're a hybrid of both, he said. Lacatski, a bespectacled man, whom a colleague described as looking like a rocket scientist, started research right out of college on missiles and directed energy weapons. In the early 2000s, he headed up the DIA annual missile threat assessment. He originally started the research out of concern that UFOs could pose a national security threat, specifically to U.S. missile defense systems. You know what was on the internet at the time? It just sounded like advanced technology to me, Lacatski said. I said, I'm interested. We need to do something about this if it's true. And I spoke to my management, and it started from there. Lacatski's later work unearthed the case of Navy fighter pilot with USS Nimitz, so on and so forth. Oh, I lost Eric.
Oh, I'm here. I guess hold on. Let me turn my camera back on. It's being wonky, I guess.
Okay. So here. Yeah. So clearly, right out of college, right into the military, right into directed energy weapons. Thoughts on that?
To me, it's just par for the course. If the document's, almost 20 years old, I cannot believe that this stuff has not, come to fruition and been implemented.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, for all, not for nothing, this, it could be decades older because Bigelow's getting the money to work on it now doesn't mean that it wasn't around 20 or 30 years before. It just is the first time they're engaged on it in this particular contract.
Right.
There's nothing here that says this is the first time we've ever done this. It's just the current iteration.
Yes. And this was in 2008. And so, you have, and when we look at the Lacatski interview, he mentions it, the DIRDs and all the Skinwalker Ranch stuff. So I am just trying to figure out who we're dealing with here. Are we dealing with a guy that wants the truth out there? Are we dealing with a guy that wants to get misinformation out there to confuse people and stir up the pot more? It's hard to say.
I think it's standard operating procedures that this is being rolled out a day late and a dollar short. This is the military industrial complex corporation contractors. These are the ones that have the tech, the government's the clients. The manufacturers don't want to have the clients have better gear than them. Right. So I think the narrative is actually controlled by the corporations, and that the governments, I think you might have heard that politicians can be paid off, Gabe. I never know what. I'm serious. Yeah, I hate to pop your cherry on this one, but word has it on the street that politicians are a dime a dozen if you're a multi-trillionaire megastructure. So I think this is actually this is the big prize, is the technology, and this is where power. Literally power, when you're talking about all the rage, everybody's talking about micro reactors now. I was aware of this 20 years ago. There's a company called Hyperion Power Generation was the first private company to get licensed by Los Alamos National Laboratories to start making what they referred to at the time as nuclear batteries.
Okay.
That it was like a nuclear power plant, but like the size of a hot tub with no moving parts, no radioactive waste, and could power a small city for 5 to 20 years, depending on which variant. So this was 20 years ago that this information was public about what corporations were manufacturing. Now, we, the people, are hearing it like it's this newfangled thing that they're going to look into start doing. It's already been going on for 20 years behind closed doors.
Probably longer.
Exactly. Because that was the first. It was the first corporation to be licensed to sell the product from the coffers of Los Alamos National Laboratories. But how long was Los Alamos National Laboratories using this with other companies? Not because I'm sorry, and this was to produce it for commercial sale.
Probably.
So how long was it being utilized before it was licensed to be manufactured for commercial sale? So it begs the question, and this is what I'm saying. All of these things have been going on for decades behind closed doors on our planet, while Rick Doty would then run around and say, it's a UFO. No, it's a nuclear battery powered flying vehicle or submersible vehicle or double duty submersible. Right.
Thing. Yeah. Well, so Kona Blue, we'll get into this because that's a big claim that Lacatski made, is that Kona Blue is operational. It never stopped. It's always been operational. They may have tweaked things here and there, but it's never gone away. It's here to stay. So Kona Blue originated as a DHS concept for a special access program related to UAP exploitation. And the technical status of it today is still as a proposal. So like on the books, it's a proposal. It's not something that they've done. DHS formally ended the prospective program on February 10th, 2012. No special access program was created. Again, this is the official line.
What this stuff cracks me up because this is legalese, right? So they can say no special access program was created. No SAP. What if a USAP was created, an unacknowledged special? Right. What if a waived unacknowledged special acts? Like there's other terms that actually just put it into higher levels of secrecy. This is word games. This is all word games. We made no top secret level 1 project out of it.
Exactly.
We made a top secret level 4 project out of it. So we're not even lying.
It's insane. It's insane. And right in your face. You know, like they don't care. Okay, says AARO's document review found no evidence Kona Blue was ever approved, funded, or executed. AARO's review. OSAP and AATIP were DoD DIA efforts. Kona Blue was a separate DHS idea that did not progress. That is what they tell us about these programs. But you and I both know that's bullshit. And Lacatski today said, nope, it's not a proposal. It's a program that's been running and continue to run.
And they literally,
what are your thoughts on that?
They change names on programs like scheduled, right? Like it could be, let's call it every 6 months, every year. Like if you have the Kona Blue program, well, let's just say for brevity, in a year, it's got to be turned into Corona Green.
Right.
And then they'll say, Kona Blue was stopped. We stopped Kona Blue. Look, here's the date or the paperwork. It says it stopped. Well, then they just ignore the fact that they started up another program by a different name that was a continuation of the other. And this is done it's a counterintel maneuver so that if foreign agents are trying to come into our country and track Kona Blue, well, they can only track it for so far because there's a name change. And then those people have to start all over again to dig and find out, well, where is it now? What's going on? So this is beautiful. It's total standard operating procedures, and that makes it also hard for we the people to get the truth because we're being thrown out like the baby with the bathwater, just like everything else.
So this document, I want to apologize. The document I showed us earlier was actually meant for a little bit later. That's why I couldn't find his name anywhere. This is the one I actually wanted to pull up earlier, and you can kind of tell by the name: State of the Art and Evolution of High Energy Laser Weapons, also known as...
You'd be good at one of these debriefings between like the feds and the agencies and the investigators. Seriously? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong document.
My bad.
I'm so sorry about that. You know what? None of these. Here, look at these crop circle photos. That's a UFO, I think.
So this is a paper. We're not gonna go into it and read it or anything, but like this is the actual paper, and you can see here's some illustrations. And I can send this to you if you want me to, or just give you the link to it. But this is the actual paper that has his name on it, shows him as the head of this project. And so this is, aside from his own bio, this is actual hard evidence that links him to directed energy weapons. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't just a rumor, that it was actually true that this guy was working on this stuff. So he definitely was. This is the actual Kona Blue briefing. And this one has the unclassified word on it too. That's weird. Because I don't see. Does that one say? Hold on. Let me get the big one. Let me get the regular one on my desktop here.
And this stuff cracks me up too, because this can be the unclassified version out, to put to market, so to say. It doesn't mean that there isn't a top secret version of this that has a lot more information in it.
Yeah,
I mean, this is how stuff works.
Certain eyes only, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is the Kona Blue, I guess, proposal. And the summary of prospective special access program proposal inside the Department of Homeland Security that aimed to create a protected channel for collecting, analyzing, and potentially exploiting UAP-related materials and knowledge. Advocates tied to the DIA's OSAP pushed DHS to stand up a successor effort dubbed Kona Blue after OSAP funding ended. They released an oral history initiative, which has structured interviews of security-cleared retirees and activities mirroring OSAP's tech study focus areas. 2011, the DHS Undersecretary for Science and Technology established Kona Blue as a PSAP proposal, not a fully approved SAP, citing potential relevance and congressional interests. February 10th, 2012, so about a year later, DHS Deputy Secretary disapproved making it a SAP and ordered termination of the proposal. So it took him about a year to find that money in the black market. What it accomplished: no operations, no funding, no materials received. AARO's document review says it was never approved, funded, or executed, and no data or material was transferred to DHS under Kona Blue. So yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit.
This stuff, it's this, I swear to you, Gabe, I'm not trying to be a dick, but this stuff to me, it's meaningless, because they can literally say, we're not funding Kona Blue as presented, but we're going to fund Corona Green for 10 times more money. We're going to make it a waived special access program. Like, so even like this document here, like the unclassified version, like, name. Right. There's other types of classifications, there's non-foreign intelligence and stuff like that. So when I see stuff like this, I think of it as like blatant. It's a commercial. This is what they produce because this is what they want people to think.
Yeah. Now,
That's
why
it,
do you
because
think they would put a directed energy guy on UFOs?
because you want to arm these things.
Yeah. You think
Yeah,
so?
I mean, absolutely, and you're going to have a copious amount of power available.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know. Yeah. Also,
And then
he's.
I believe one of the big issues they had back in the day with conventional flight. I mean, you can only put so much conventional weapons on a flight platform before now all of a sudden, every time you pull the trigger, you're twisting the thing over sideways. So they did actually have back in the day a whole bunch of different types of platforms of peculiar, exotic, let's just say conventionally propelled flight craft. But when they tried to arm them, right, now you try to fire some sort of howitzer, and now all of a sudden this thing's kicking over sideways because of the kinetic force. It makes it not practical. But if you can have an energy beam that doesn't have the kickback of a conventional munition, it's just being practical.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just strange to me. Another thing I notice about Lacatski is he often says, like, doesn't really say it, but he kind of infers, like, if you find out the truth, you're going to be disappointed. And we'll check out the interview a little bit. And
I don't believe that in the slightest, because then they would just tell us the truth.
Yeah, why all the secrecy?
That's just more propaganda. Yeah, it's not even worth your time looking into it, Gabe. It's so boring. All this super top secret directed energy weapons and mind controlled limbless functioning stuff. It's so boring.
Well, that's the interest to me on the directed energy front is like, what if some of the UFO phenomena is a directed energy weapon?
I think it's way up there. In directed energy weapon systems exist. They've been being utilized for years. So many factions have them. They're currently in the throes of battle with them. They're putting them on exotically propelled machines that we're not discussing. So all of this activity is going on everywhere. And the cover story that we're getting is, there might be UFOs, Gabe.
Right. And climate change.
Now there might. Yeah, climate change. Yeah. It's cover stories. It's just simple.
Yeah.
I mean, if we look at it, like it's rational, it's reasonable, it's logical that, if we follow this hypothesis, it would make sense. Right? People just need it's like a leap of faith. If you just simply believe, if you have faith that there are bad factions that would monopolize technologies, that have gone rogue, have more money than they know what to do with to propagandize us, to pay content creators $7,000 a post, right? Right.
I still need to get to the bottom of that.
But think about that, right? Even just the proposition of that, right? If there's one faction, people are saying that the state of Israel is paying people $7,000 a post, right? So would that be the only faction that exists that would pay podcasters exorbitant amounts of money to get their info out? So now we have to look at this whole playing field now. Yeah. How many of these podcasters are disingenuous and being funded to spew the propaganda of whatever faction is like, hey, do me a favor, make a post about that? Do me a favor, make a post about that?
I'm sure a good number of them. I know. Right? There's one in particular that's been questionable in my mind lately, but
super shocking, right?
Yeah.
So this is, I've said before that, like, if I said the media is wholly corrupted, the mass media is wholly corrupted.
Oh, most people would,
right? That's pretty much the immediate response that you get from almost everybody. But then if I follow up and I go, by the way, the internet is part of the mass media.
Nuh-uh.
And that's what you get, right? That's
yeah.
Everyone goes, no, you can't.
No, not my internet.
You can't corrupt the whole internet. And I go,
I have
really?
a VPN, and I only browse every other Thursday.
Right,
so.
But like, I mean, to think that these folks can't invest, that there's not many factions with many millions of dollars,
right,
to spread around similarly to the $7,000 a post scenario. Right? A lot of people are like, well, that's actually crazy because $7,000, like, no, that's actually playing money to other people. We'll even be conservative. Let's say it's only $1,000 a post. We'll cut that number by 1/7.
People would still be doing it like crazy.
Everybody would be soaking this up without pause.
Oh yeah, I know. I can think of at least a couple of friends that'd be like, right all on. Day long. All day long.
Yeah. $1,000 a post. Wait, what if I do 5 a day? You get $5,000. Wait, what?
Yep, I'll do 50 a day. How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
And these companies have the capacity. That's what people don't realize.
So back to Lacatski here. Now, some people have said that image of the ocean up there is from the movie Contact, and there's some kind of meaning. I kind of chuckled to myself, and I was like, I bet he just needed to put an image in there. He just grabbed the first one when he opened it. But who knows? But yeah, this is the actual Kona proposal, apparently. But again, treating it like a threat, right? It's a threat, in his opinion. That's why he got involved in the first place. So you got a DEW guy who believes these things are a threat, who has breached the hull of a UFO, according to himself and at least one witness that we know of. Now, maybe not the most reliable witness in Eric Davis, but still a witness.
Not possible. They could just be colluding.
Anything's possible, right? Especially
if podcasters can get $7,000 a post. What can a colluding supposed whistleblower get?
Right. So, okay, so I wanted to start off. This is actually his first interview 2 years ago, and he's in the beginning here. And I'm with you. I heard about the first one, didn't watch it, and I've only watched bits and pieces of the second one in preparation for tonight.
So just for clarification from my brain. So what you're saying is that this is the first time ever in history that this man spoke publicly on these topics? That's what we're watching?
No, this is the first interview with George Knapp, where he said he breached the hull of a UFO.
Okay, but it's not the first time that he had spoken publicly.
No.
Okay, copy that.
Because I found one from 4 years ago with George Knapp, and I'm sure there's other ones too.
You got it. Okay.
But this was kind of the big one on Weaponized Appetite. Then he kind of just went dark and then cropped up again a few days ago with this recent interview. So I figure we'll check this out for a moment because it starts out with his time in DIA, and I want to see if he talks about DEWs at all. And then we'll talk about that and then jump over to this new one here. All right, here we go.
The Advanced Aerospace Weapons System Applications program was basically created between myself and Senator Reid at the Defense Intelligence Agency. It was a $22 million program. It had the capability of going 5 years. We completed our objectives in 2 years.
Okay, So we always hear about the Harry Reid money that went to research UFOs. So this was the guy that was with them, apparently.
It sounds like low numbers to me.
It was.
Right? Like yeah, that sounds like administrative costs, like almost like.
I
so
think
for 5 years, $22 million. We're looking at 4.1 million per year.
Yeah,
so
not a lot.
How many personnel?
Not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
so
it was
really low numbers.
It was breaking news then because it was an acknowledgement that at some level they were funding UFO research. So this and it was right around then they started changing it to UAP and changing it to NHI and all that kind of. So this is
I have a huge problem with this stuff because it sounds to me like what they're doing. So what we learned, I forget who it was and where it was said, but that there were fake programs made to confuse personnel.
I think it was like the Washington Post.
Right. So there was something said about that, right? That the hazing, they called it hazing folks and creating fake programs. That's what I think this stuff is.
Yeah, could be.
Right. When you're talking about it's only $22 million for 5 years, that to me is not enough money to accomplish anything other than bamboozling some folks into thinking they're involved in a real program. And spending enough money so that they can say after this program is taken offline, what we're going to do is then we're going to run to the public with it, and we're going to use this program to say this is proof of the government working on UFOs. That's what I hear when I hear this. This is a setup to disseminate disinformation. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, it totally could be.
Because numbers don't lie.
Yeah, and it's not black money. It's money that they budgeted for.
Right, it's monies that they're allowed to talk about. That's money. Yeah. Exactly.
So there's a reason they did that.
Yep, and the reason was they intended to go public with it when they created it. They built a nothing burger for cheap so they can say, oh, look, you found where we had the burgers at.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely fuckery going on. I mean, you can read the emails between, was it Susan Go was the Secretary of Defense? I think it was Susan Go. But you can read the emails on, they're on the Dark Journalist site where they knew what the gimbal and the Go Fast were. And they just
probably hours
weren't telling the media. They're
this is where I think too is that they'll step up programs. Like if they have one project that's super secret, our stuff, right? But super secret, right? What they'll do is they'll put together another task force, and what they'll do is they'll put them on task of trying to observe the stuff that we've made, but they'll tell that team that they're hunting for UFOs.
Yeah.
And then that team is like, oh my God, look what we saw on the radar. And then the team that got spotted on the radar now has to make an adjustment because their UFO that wasn't supposed to be seen on the radar now just got seen on a radar. So this is where there's real programs doing real secret stuff. And then there's real programs that think they're doing secret stuff, but they're being bamboozled, they're being hazed, and then they're being dotied and told that they're a UFO, search team, but they're really, finding the proverbial F-117s. In the 1970s, when the F-117 was operational, what were radar operators that didn't know that the F-117 existed told when the thing ripped across their radar screen?
Yeah, well, that's like that story where the first, in the early days of jet fighter planes, the first test pilots would carry a gorilla mask with them because they were classified. That way, if someone saw them, they put the gorilla mask on, and if someone reported it, they'd be like, I saw a gorilla flying a plane. They'd be like, okay, psycho. They would do that.
Oh, man. I would have had a Michael Myers mask.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, just whatever. So that when they're reporting it, they sound like a total nutcase. You know?
Now imagine there was a program where they just like, what if they had like predator masks, but like back in the
new
50s?
Predator just came out today, I think.
Oh, nice. But you know what I'm saying? Like, what if they actually did go so far, like, fuck the monkey mask? What if they actually did have like these really cool alien looking masks? Just, the visor pulls down and it looks like an alien.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it's a directed
heard that
energy
before.
weapon that messes with your head and you think you've seen something that you didn't.
All possibility exists always.
Yeah. Or you think you remember something you didn't. I just know there's been a lot of research into how to fuck with your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And DEWs don't leave a trace typically. So
100% plausible deniability. The military loves the term plausible deniability. So this is one of the reasons why I really, really double down on these weapons have to exist, because the desire for the military factions to maintain 100% plausible deniability is just, it's too sought after.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's continue here.
It was test of various components of a UFO, UAP, paranormal research program. Right from the beginning, it included all aspects of both the UFOs and the paranormal in relationship to UFOs. It was a contract that was put out on the internet.
So it's interesting they throw the paranormal in there.
I caught that too, Gabe. Yeah. What does he even mean by associating the two at that point in practical reality, what I would say, versus making sure they muddy the waters?
Yeah. Well, that was like the Skinwalker thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this about UFOs or UAP, or is this about
how much of the funding went to Ouija
this
boards?
Ranch? I mean, what is going on? But why, it makes you wonder, why is that? Why is that connection there? Why? Because I know it didn't just come from these guys, right? Like we've always seen that kind of connection, UFO paranormal. Is it just because they're the same genre? Or is there more to it?
I think it's the demographic that they're targeting to muddy the waters on.
Okay. So like the people that would be interested in that?
Yep. Yes. And they want to cross connect it, and they want to it's similar to how we see in politics and everything that's going on, how they divide we the people so that we bicker about stuff and they get away with things. So that's what I'm hearing from this, is they're gonna cross connect things so they can get different avenues of people bickering with each other. So now the topic becomes made more complex. So now we're going to have the tech folk talking about it. We're going to have the paranormal people talking about it. And now it's like X spaces, right? You bring up one topic and you're like, hey, UFOs. And then all of a sudden someone's like, well, I'm a star seed. And then somebody else, well, I think it's ghosts. And then it's like, what did you know about Bigfoot? And now everybody's throwing their 2 cents in, and nobody's getting to the facts that are being hidden.
Yeah. Yep.
Everyone has their personal perspective.
That's interesting. So yeah, and I'll be honest, I have not read the Skinwalkers at the ranch yet.
Me neither.
I do plan on doing it, but I haven't read it yet. But how crazy is it that of all that time and resources and money, the most comprehensive report had to be the book the journalist wrote? I mean, what does that say about just the level of secrecy?
What year was the book
operating at? Oh, the Pentagon at Skinwalker?
Yep.
Let me see.
Was it after the Obama administration legalized the U.S. government subsidizing the news?
Sorry, Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. Came out October 10th, 2021.
Okay, so it was after the Obama administration put in the NDAA that it was legal for the U.S. government to subsidize the news, which means propagandized through the mass media, which books are included.
Wouldn't that be something, y'all? If this was just one great big mind, but then it begs the question for what? Like, what are we being distracted from?
The
what
truth. It's just deception. It's hearts and minds, but you're Pied Pipering people in the wrong direction. The purpose would be counterintelligence to keep people away from the actual intelligence. Because again, now all the foreign espionage agents, all the different corporations' espionage teams still have to surf these same waves of bullshit that are being pumped out.
Yeah.
It's building a buffer zone of disinformation and deception around the truth in many layers. I've spoken to a lot of folks that say, like, for every one project that they step up that's totally legitimate, they set up like 5 or 6 fake ones around it. Because now the people that are trying to dig to find the truth, there's forks in the road.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me
and they
of
start digging into the wrong project. And then that's when, there's that old phrase that, we'll put so much bullshit out into the world that when the only thing that the people are saying is the bullshit propaganda that we produced, we know we've won. So it's the same thing when it comes to intelligence and counterintelligence, right? If you can find from your spies that the spies from other nations are running around and they're talking about Corona green instead of Kona blue, you've protected Kona blue. It's literally that simple. So they have to make a Corona green. They have to make a freaking apple yellow. Like, they have to make all these different programs. And then they have agents out there. So the BS programs are the information that they want people to get their hands on. And they want to make it seem like it was challenging to get so look what we got. We got this document. And it's like, no, you were given that document. You were meant to get that document. They wanted to make it seem like you weren't supposed to get that document. But these are the games that spies play.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know there were some of all of the stuff that the UAPDA didn't deliver on. One of the few things they did deliver on was the images from the archives and the videos. So like basically any old UFO or UAP image they had in their archives, they had to release to the Gov archive site with approval or whatever. So they did do that, but that's about it. So it's like that just kind of matches up with what you're saying.
How many of those images were there? Any idea?
Oh, I don't. You can go to the archive.
This is the first I'm hearing of it, because it's just, and that's one of the things that I've questioned is that there's got to be. I mean, just call it from 1970 and further back. You're telling me that they just can't in mass release every single thing that they had from 1970 and prior? I mean, just under the principle, I'll yield for half a second that, like, all right, modern stuff still needs to be secreted because it might compromise national security, blah, blah, blah. But there's got to be a line in the sand right now where we can say every single thing before that is going to be released.
Yeah. And that's...
Or there's major shenanigans going on. And since they haven't done that, I'm just going to say there's major shenanigans going on.
Yeah. I mean, when the whole UAP Disclosure Act, once they attached it to the NDAA the first time in 2023, I knew that thing was fucked. And that's exactly what happened. They gutted it the first time, and this last year they just took it out.
And then the whole subsidizing the news thing screws us more than people imagine, because I don't think people really realize what that means.
Yeah, because they were already propagandizing us before they got the okay. So now they don't even have to be sneaky about it.
Right. They used to have to lie and it'd be subterfuge. Like if I was a federal agent and I wanted to go to the Gabriel Speaks show, I had to do it on the down low, and Gabe would have to figure out, well, how the hell am I going to show an extra $1 million in my budget? Like, I'm screwed. I can't even really take this envelope. But now literally they can walk up to you with an envelope with $1 million and like, dude, here's the way that your show is going to run for the next year. You're cool. We're cool. Cool. Right. And you're like, yep, money in the bank, guy. Like, this is now legal.
Exactly. And it's the same thing when they made corporations citizens, right? And they could donate as much money as they wanted pretty much to candidates. And get that same kind of time. Crazy. Okay, let's go back to the smoking guy from the X-Files here, Jim Lacatski. Let him continue.
They had a quick turnaround because of the funding mechanism. The first year was $10 million. The second year was $12 million. And we got it out. We had numerous interested parties who wished to bid on the contract, but following the regulations, it first had to go to small businesses. Well, the only we found small businesses that were capable of bidding on it, but they chose not to. Bob Bigelow's Bass created specifically, and that was so important to DIA, specifically to address
Bigelow Space is a small business, ladies and gentlemen.
Program.
What small businesses don't want government money?
New method of putting out this request for proposal. We did not tell the contractor, the bidder, what to do. We said, this is what we wanted achieved. How would you do it? And that's how this program was created and had specifically all the right components.
Let me back up a little bit just for our listeners, people that are listening, and also just for the visual audience here. Dr. Lacatski, first of all, in December 2017, the world learned that there was a UFO study program and that it was funded for $22 million. They heard that program was called AATIP, but what you've told us is that, no, you ran the program in the DIA for studying UFOs, and it was called OSAP, Advanced Aerospace Weapon System Applications Program. So you're talking now about a government study, a UFO program, studying all the physics and the nature of UFOs up to date. And so you're kind of coming forward with these books with Dr. Kelleher and George Knapp, and you're laying it out for people. This is what we.
And this is another reason that if you do your homework, you just by doing your homework and looking at the dates, you can see that Luis Elizondo is being dishonest about leading OSAP, because he does call it ATIP on multiple occasions, and it wasn't ATIP, it was OSAP. It was called ATIP by some people on the inside, but the official name of the program was OSAP. And the timelines just don't work. By the time Luis Elizondo ever got his fingers on the OSAP program, it was already defunded. It was over. It was done.
This is why I think all of this stuff is contrived and purposeful to be wrong, because it's a decoy.
Yeah.
Everybody's focused on all of this BS while the programs continue to run. It's like a football game. Like the quarterback fakes to a guy, he fakes the handoff.
Yeah.
And the defense starts running after that guy, and that guy pretends to be running for the end zone. And meanwhile, somebody else has the ball and is going in a different direction. That's all this is. This is all decoy tactics.
Well, I think there is something to the ranch out there. I really do. I don't think we're seeing it on the show.
Right, we're getting the decoy intel. I don't doubt there's all kinds of legit stuff going on all over the place, Gabe. I don't doubt that. What I doubt is that any of the information that knuckleheads like Jeremy Corbell and Lou Elizondo are putting out there have anything to do other than with the fake handoff. They're with the decoy side. They're running for the end zone, but they don't have the ball. And that's their job, to fake you out. Right? That happens on a football field all the time, right? There's dudes that are in charge of faking you out. That's their job.
Yeah.
That's what these guys are doing. They did the quick hand fake, boom, but they don't got the ball, and it's their job to make sure you don't see where the ball is.
And you think Lacatski is one of those
Sounds
guys.
like it to me so far.
Yeah.
Because I don't. This program doesn't sound like it could have much going on for the finances involved. It was even very weird. Earlier he said it was a 5-year program. He's saying, what did they get? 10 million the first year and 12
the second year.
The second year. So they got all their money up front before completion. That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
We got 3 more years with no more funding because they got it all cashed out in the first 2.
Well, it got cut. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you look at the timeline.
Right, but why would it be cut after they got fully financed?
Well, they got financed. I think what they produced were the DIRDs. And then whatever else they got, I think Bigelow kept to himself.
Define DIRD.
The Defense Intelligence Research Paper.
Okay.
So it was like
it's a lot of money for paperwork, right?
Yeah, well, it's all the reports of like the weird shit basically that happened out there. So like oh god, I have one.
Right, so it doesn't sound like they were actually doing any tangible science, not working with tools. This is, again, what I would say, this is a manufactured paper trail, because this is, again, going back to the decoy. They need to invest enough money to make enough of a bogus front operation to have enough paperwork to be a sufficient decoy. But effectively, there's nothing going on in this program other than building a paper trail to draw people off of the actual activity where there's legitimate science going on, where people are buying tools and freaking laser beams to breach hulls and stuff.
Actually doing things.
Right. This sounds to me like a whole bunch of people having conversations on activities they never engaged in.
Yeah, and you could be 100% right.
I do a lot of work. I do a lot of work in the field now where, there's tools and equipment required and tasks that have to be done, right?
Yeah.
But then it turns out we also have to do paperwork to prove to the pencil pushers that work was done, because they don't understand work. Right? They don't, like, if I said, like, I went in and I installed a 16-section knockdown cast iron steam boiler, blah, blah, like, they're not going to know what I'm talking about through conversation. They've never done it. So I have to produce paperwork. Okay.
Right.
So what I've learned is that since these guys only speak in paperwork, I could put 10 times more papers on the desk and claim there was 10 times more work done. And the paper pushers would have no idea that 1/10 of the work was done. If I provide them the paperwork, then they're convinced that's the way that it was.
Right.
So this is what I'm getting at with these departments, is they're paperwork pushing departments to pretend that the work was done when they don't necessarily have the receipts for the work. Where's the receipts for the tools? Where's the hull breaching stuff? Don't tell me you breached a hull because you have a piece of paper that says you breached a hull. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, these were the more I think there was over 20 of them, but these are the more shocking ones that I made note of. You had a bulletproof wolf in 1994. You had a daylight calf mutilation in 1997, intelligent blue orbs and hitchhiker effect from 1995 to present, infrared portal and a crawling humanoid around 2002. You had an invisible wall of force in the mid-2000s, and a basal ganglia injury in the 2000 tens, and that we have actually seen on the Skinwalker Ranch show. The guy that had the giant injury in the back of his. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
No.
My wife made me watch it, and I finally sat down and watched a bunch of it with her. But yeah, this guy, he was out there doing the digging, and as he was doing the digging, his head just started swelling up, and he ended up with a super serious basal ganglia injury. It said, let me see, MRI scans revealed sudden inflammation deep in the basal ganglia. Damage, doctors said, resembled exposure to high energy radiation, yet no environmental source was found. Similar cases have since been logged. So like there's weird shit going on out there.
Yeah. It makes me think of like back when the nuclear testing was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we're going to do an experiment over there. So you guys get in the trench really
Just
close with
stand
cameras.
over there. Yeah.
Right. So like that's what I think of when I hear this stuff, Gabe's like, I don't doubt that something happened to this guy's head, but I don't believe it's anything paranormal. I just think that they were on the experiment receiving side of something.
Yeah.
And there was another team that was on the experimental transmission side. Transmission side. And team A was transmitting and team B was determined to be expendable.
Yeah. Well, and that's
they
why
they could have straight up fired a microwave beam at this guy that could have damaged his brain, but then for purposes of television production, this stuff, man.
Well,
what a terrible web we weave when first we set out to deceive.
Oh, I thought you were gonna leave it at just what a terrible. Thank you for finishing that quote.
No, you got it. This is so. I believe all possibility exists always, but it also leaves on the table as much as my brain can imagine how more complex and how more screwed up and how it's not at face value. Everything that I'm saying is logical and reasonable until such time somebody can negate the machinations of my imagination. These things are also possible.
Yeah. Yep.
I could be wrong, but these
wrong.
thoughts are going on the table of possibility also. Everything that's being presented today could be an entire intelligence operation to bamboozle many people.
Right.
For many factions.
Right.
Lest we forget that they have to. They do have to do this somewhere in certain factions, right? Whether this is that or not is yet to be determined. But we do know they have to run programs like this. For every legitimate program going on, they have to be spewing bullshit places to cover their asses.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say that kind of got me with Lacatski is that he's not like a lot of these guys that will just go on about the possibilities and talk for 45 minutes about something that's not even real. You know what I mean? Something that he doesn't know about, right? He speaks about what he knows about, and he doesn't seem to
That's cool.
He doesn't seem to anything that's classified. He just won't go there. Like you'll see it in the next interview. He just won't. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's different than what I've seen from some of these folks that have come out of the woodwork. All right, here we go. So this was, I advanced a little bit. This looks like it was a more popular section. So
hold on.
See what they discuss here.
For our audience that's listening, George just dropped an atom bomb because it was dropped in the book. So audience is just listening. I'm going to read you something. Beginning of chapter 9.
Here we go.
At the conclusion of a 2011 meeting in the Capitol building with a U.S. senator and an agency undersecretary, Lacatski, the only one of the book's authors present, posed a question. But this is where it gets good. He stated, meaning you, Dr. Lacatski, that the United States was in possession of a craft of unknown origin and had successfully gained access to its interior. This craft had a streamlined configuration suitable for aerodynamic flight, but no intakes, exhaust, wings, or control surfaces. In fact, it appeared not to have an engine, fuel tanks, or fuel. Now, there's a next part, which I'll read in a minute, but what this is you're officially allowed to tell us that the United States government has in its possession a craft of unknown origin, and you were able to access the inside. Is that correct?
The wording that you read is correct. You're going beyond the wording.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you, did that meeting happen? And is it true? And it's true.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you're telling us, you told us, because you were allowed to tell us, that our government has a UFO in its possession and has been able to access the inside of it, right?
Yes.
Well,
I
that's
was,
okay.
I was allowed to tell you. Let me show the back of the book. This is.
I know, but hold up, George. Will you translate, George?
All right, let's try another tack. How do we know it's a craft and not a doorstop? We accessed it. It has no engine. It has no wings. No fuel. It doesn't. We don't know that it travels. Do we know it's a craft, or it's just a rock?
George, you're going into the further discussion that occurred that day.
All right.
We can't go there. But let me tell you, we're going to try to cover that in the future. But it's delicate. It makes the technology described in here look primitive.
Why is it delicate? Why is this topic that the United States government has a UFO in its possession and we've been reverse engineering it? You've admitted it. Why is it delicate?
The details. I'm old school. I won't use the term adversary, competitor as the way we describe. We are surrounded, maybe not surrounded, but hopefully not so, by our enemies. And our enemies, you can be sure they're listening to this show right now. You can be sure that they were monitoring OSAP. You can be sure that perhaps they had employees, hopefully not in GIA, but.
And perhaps that's why it's now legal to propagandize our own.
And this is killing me, Gabe. The more like everything that he just said was everybody playing with words. So here's what I think: Lacatski was forced to get grilled. He has to honor his security clearances, and the way that fucking scumbag Jeremy just worded everything was blatant and tactical, because there's nothing about what was just discussed when they said it's of unknown origin. That means they don't know if it's Japanese, they don't know if it's Russian, they don't know if it's Chinese, they don't know if it's from Venezuela. And Jeremy Corbell's running with it and immediately then tries to switch it to UFO as if it's a fucking alien thing not from this planet. So as far as I'm concerned, Lacatski and his crew came across human-made technology, breached it, got into the hull, and yes, it was highly advanced foreign weaponry.
Wow. Hot take.
That's all that was said there.
Okay,
but what they're doing is what they're doing in the courtroom would be called leading the witness. And in this case, the witness is the audience.
Right.
They're leading the witness. They're trying to paint a picture like this man dealt with an off-world craft and breached its hull, and he can't say because it's delicate that no, it's he also chose his words delicately.
Oh yeah, he always does.
We have enemies.
Yeah.
We have enemies.
Yeah.
I can't discuss this man-made ship that's super advanced because it's a threat to us. That would scare the shit out of people to begin with. Oh, and by the way, it's fucking classified as fuck anyhow. That's all I heard in that exchange.
Yeah.
But Jeremy Corbell's trying to lead the witness because he's a scumbag and he's trying to go with this false narrative that every man-made tech that's going on is UFO stuff.
You think
he's part of the cover-up of man-made tech and factions fighting with it actively?
See, I poke fun at Jeremy Corbell, but you're really not a fan. You think he's a piece of shit, huh?
He's a fucking paid shill. He's a lying fuck as far as I'm concerned.
I always considered him
he is complicit in the bullshit. He has been taking the $7,000 per post that people are only contemporarily privy to. He's been at this longer than anyone. He's been taking the monies to pump out the BS. He's part of the Counterintel operation to suggest that it's aliens. He's Doty. He's a modern day Doty.
Oh boy, that's not good. Yeah, I've poked fun at him. But I didn't know he was like considered like a paid shill. That I did not know.
This is completely my opinion and my observations. I don't see how anybody else with half a brain could see it differently. No disrespect to you, Gabriel.
I should say, well, I only have a quarter of a brain, so okay.
Yeah, I mean, these are the games that they play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It is because it's 5D chess. It's just like when I was talking about the UAP Disclosure Act the other day and how the powers that be got it attached to the NDAA. And they knew that by getting it attached to the NDAA, the very people that proposed it on the UAP task force would have to vote against it. They knew that was going to happen years ago. And they knew the optics, all of it. Like they're playing 5D chess and we are all playing checkers. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like to me anyway. Sometimes
I just, something, it almost irks me, the whole concept of 5D chess, because they try to make it out like it's anything more than regular chess.
Oh, it's just anything super.
They're playing chess, but right.
Trigonometry.
But let's just. I just want to simplify it for everyone, right?
Sure,
because they try to throw all these words out there. Because what does that even mean? 5D chess compared to what? 4D chess, 3D chess, 2D chess, 1D chess, right? Like where are the qualifying aspects of this conversation? Right. Let's just talk about chess. Okay.
Okay. We'll say AI level chess. How about that?
Being an expert at chess means looking at the board and seeing many moves ahead and planning in that capacity. That's what chess is, right? Is that I know that if I make this move, he's going to make that move and this move, and you can start plotting out 13 moves ahead. So this is what we're looking at with these guys. The UFO information, the counterintelligence being applied, is it's just planning ahead. So like I said earlier, they set up one of these factions for the low investment in the grand scheme of government operations. $22 million for a 5-year operation is nothing.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely not.
But it's an investment in the future because they're playing chess. So you have to be a few moves ahead in your thoughts if you want to win. You cannot be reacting to your audience, so to say. You have to be ahead of the curve. So you have to invest, at least nominally, to have a paper trail. You have to start it here, right? So that in the future, a few moves later, you have what you need at that time. So they invest a few bucks, a couple of shiny nickels, to make sure they have a paper trail so that 5, 10, 20 years down the road, when they need Jeremy Corbell to come out like a carnival barker and go, oh my God, look what's on page 2. Oh, the thing that they wrote 10 years ago because they knew they were going to hire some bearded prick like you to come on and be their carnival barker. All we're watching is the chess game play out as planned from many moves ago.
Right. Yeah.
Because what we're not getting here is any true information. Right. We're not getting actionable intelligence, but we're getting this carnival barker in a beard, basically leading the witness. The only thing that Jeremy Corbell tried to make it look like that guy said was that it was a UFO, when the guy never said that.
Yeah. I think he does say that though in the book. He says UFO, and that's what he was like trying to
Fair
get
enough,
at.
but now following the definition of UFO, it's unidentified,
Right. Yeah.
right?
And that's
if we had a fucking plane breach our borders and crash, if there were no identifying marks on it,
Mhm.
it fits the bill. They would say we had an unidentified flying object crash land,
Yeah.
and we're looking into it. Technically, that's a true statement because they don't know where it came from.
Yes. Yep. You have to be pay very
Wordy-gurdy.
close attention to the verbiage that's used for sure.
Word selection is huge in these conversations.
Yeah. When you're dealing with, intelligence folks and
Yes.
that entire apparatus.
Right.
I
The
mean,
fact
they live in that.
they are being so selective.
But it doesn't
It's
look like it.
indicative. No, it's to me, it's screaming of tactical word selection.
Yeah. Well,
It's screaming tactical word selection.
what I mean by that is like to the regular observer watching this podcast, you do get that he's choosing his words carefully for classification, but it seems like a natural conversation. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like it's this staged, put together.
This is why they
thing that
hired
it is.
Corbell to do this. This is his job, is to attempt to make it look like a natural conversation of an investigator, when in reality he's using word selection to lead the witness to paint a picture.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
his job.
as Ryan points out, he's a big fan of Jeremy Corbell, and we did a video. It's about a 20-minute video, and it's basically just us laughing at Jeremy Corbell's quantum jujitsu video.
Oh, God.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's so good.
Jeremy's a laugh
so.
book.
So this is the one that just came out. And again, you'll love this because he even says that he wrote down his prepared statement so as not to say anything, incorrectly.
Pre-planned, proper word selection.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Not even
Par
trying
for
to
the
hide
course.
it this time. Yeah, exactly. Not even trying to like make it look casual. But again, pay attention.
Is it possible somebody
folks.
could have wrote it for him, Gabe?
It's definitely possible.
Is it possible someone could have wrote this for him?
It's definitely possible.
And he was ordered
Then
to
I
say,
wonder who,
I wrote this.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So, I'm going to let it go, and then I'm sure we'll interrupt him soon here.
As way of background, I was the creator and DIA program.
I don't know why they
manager
had
of
these cheesy
OSAP,
drums
the
going.
Advanced Aerospace Weapons
they go away
System
soon.
Applications Program.
It's called Hemisync.
And of the follow-on Kona Blue program, KBP.
Okay, here we go.
Both classified programs, regardless of what the internet has said in the past. Both classified. Now, other than your invitation, guess that would have been 2 months ago now, no one from the House Oversight UAP Investigational Committee of Congress has ever, after multiple hearings, contacted me. Right at the beginning, I had a phone call where a young lady and her partner, a male, who never said another word other than introducing himself, went through a checklist and said, what did I think of these people? Well, as a professional, what am I supposed to say? They're great or they're rotten. I just gave a generic answer. So now here's the thing that's very important. And I want to use that as a proper term. The public's, yours, George's, and my testimony is contained in the books. They are complete. I'll tell you in a moment how difficult that was to do, but they are complete. That's everything that I have been approved to say, condensed into what will be 1,200 pages. So those books are Skinwalkers at the Pentagon, Inside the U.S. Government Covert UFO Program,
Book plug.
Initial Revelations, the new book.
Approved to say is
New
another way of saying
Insights.
directed.
Yeah, and what's interesting is he's basically just said, look, anything I say on the Senate or House floor is going to be in these books already.
And the also approved future book, let's say at 4 months, 6 months.
The approved future book in 4 to 6
Right.
months.
So this goes right back to the NDAA and subsidized news. He's approved to say it is another way of saying directed to say.
Yes, 100%.
These books could have been written by someone else, and he was told, put your name on this book, read this book, become familiar with it, become a proponent of leading the witness by this book.
Yeah. And folks, George Knapp, no matter what you think of him, I think he's gotten as close to this story as anyone over the years. He's identified key players, sometimes with luck, sometimes without luck, but he's always been on this story since the gate, since, what was it, early 90s with Bob Lazar, late 80s? I think it was like late 80s, like 88, 89 or something. But, and I'm not saying Bob Lazar is legit, okay? I don't want to get in the Bob Lazar argument. God, please don't drag me into that. I'm just saying, like, he's been on it for a very long time, and he feels like Lacatski is about as high up as he's gonna get with these UFO guys. Like, Lacatski could even, he might be the bridge between the legacy shit and the shit that's going on now. He might be one of the very few people that actually know the goods on both programs. So an interesting character, to say the least, for sure. But yes, very careful about the words he says.
Future visions. Now, that is a complete package. That's all I could ever say to the Congress, and they can read it and know 100 times more than they're ever going to get from hearings. Okay, now, George had a good point on the next statement. These books are not written in the traditional sense. They're assembled. They are not about questionable flying saucer stories, paranormal tales, or fanciful descriptions of strange visitors from other worlds. They are not my beliefs, conjecture, or opinion, nor are they the attention-seeking babble from the internet, podcast.
Just say a team wrote them for me.
Yeah, he takes a couple digs here. I know and I only know that because I think at some point Jeremy Corbell has to tell him that UFO researchers do get laid. Because I guess he's like talking shit about people at research, and that makes me think he is.
Yeah, but he literally just said these
team.
books are not written as you think they're assembled.
Right.
I mean, what does that mean to you, Gabe?
It means it's a bunch of bullshit. It means that they were completely
manufactured. Assembly is like another term. It's like a synonymous term. Assembled, manufactured,
yes, completely overseen, contrived, and put together.
Collusion. Like these are words that come to my mind. So when I was in basic enlisted submarine school for the United States Navy, we were required to become familiar with the movie The Hunt for Red October.
Mm-hmm.
And we were
great
told,
movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Great movie, right?
Yeah,
that was Tom Clancy's first major book?
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the problem with it, right? So now, and then he wrote a whole bunch of other books, right? He became famous, right?
Yeah.
Well, Tom Clancy took the $7,000.
Oh, he did, huh?
He didn't write the book. The book's a true story. We were taught that in basic enlisted submarine school. The book's a true story. Okay, so that means Clancy's not an author.
Well, I mean, he filled in the.
No. He didn't write the book. The book's a true story. He was given the story.
Right. But all the fluff he did around the story.
No.
So somebody else wrote the book
that's
entirely.
the problem. So this is what I'm getting at. When he's saying that this book was not written in the way that you think that it was manufactured, I'm just saying this goes as far back, at the very least, to Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy was not a known author. He was given a book that was assembled. That was a true story because it was leading the witness. It was controlled dissemination of information. So he was handed a book, and he gets to put his name on it. And then that continued to happen with more and more books. So this is a tactic. Again, the mass media is wholly controlled, was a conversation that we had earlier, right?
Sure,
Lest people think that this started with television and technology, because I assure you that the mass media has always been wholly corrupted, but the type of mass media has changed. Books used to be the mass media. Were they not corrupted back then? Who published books back then? Poor people or rich people?
Well, it would be primarily, I mean, back when, like
through all of history. Let's look at all of history.
Yeah.
Who produced the mass media? The average person or people with the money that can control the narrative?
Right.
Why did we used to have laws that prevented mass media corruption? Because there was a history of corruption of mass media.
Right.
So let's just look at all mass media through all of history and time into great antiquity and realize that the mass media has always been wholly corrupted.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, yeah, I think that's true. I think there's also...
It's called the power of the edit.
There's also been honest journalism, like in history.
I'm not saying there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying there's no such thing, but there currently seems to be no such thing as the people having the thought to consider that for the most part, things had massive corruption all the while. It is not a modern problem because of modern technology.
Yeah.
There are book publishing companies. There are people with agendas. There were people that would put out books to control the narrative of things. So I'm just saying that I became privy to it in 1994 when I was
burn books.
Right? Yes, power of the edit. Get rid of the books, right? Burn the true ones and now publish and write the replacement ones. I mean, look what happened to Constantine and the Christians, right? We had ancient Christianity, and now modern Christianity is basically rewritten by the conqueror of the Christians.
Yep, a few times.
Right? Thanks to the Council of Nicaea. You know, so this is where we're at, is that things can be wholly obfuscated, and everything that this guy is saying sounds to me like they pulled a Tom Clancy on us.
It could be. It could be. It's, I think... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna let him keep going here for a little bit.
Books by individuals.
He with
OSAP.
I just think it's crazy to insinuate everything you could say is in the last book and coming out in the next book. Like,
right.
You're not going to test it. You don't need to testify. It's in the books.
You're
like,
surprised
talking about
who's coming out of the woodwork.
Like you have to.
I don't even know those people.
It's called controlled narrative.
Claiming association.
Yeah, right.
And
well, why would I don't need to be in a situation where I have to answer questions under oath. I mean, that's
right.
Read my book.
It's in the book
of knowledge of the program's
it's crazy
true nature. Instead, the books factually detail the results of OSAP's day-to-day activities assembled only from official government files at DIA and approved for release by the Department of
Everything's
Defense or
approved.
Now,
I'm just thinking of when they asked me to go to the Skiffs, if I was just like, just here's a link to my YouTube page.
The contractor
right.
was
I don't need
dealing
to
with
be there.
13,000
Just read my book.
of information. To submit to me at DIA, he reduced that, as you know, to 7,500 pages, the 115 documents. I have further reduced that to what will be a total of 1,200 pages so far. And now here's something most people don't seem to realize. If you have the free version of Kindle, I make about 50 cents a book. If you buy a full,
that's right.
a
Yeah, he's
full
complaining about
printed copy, I make
his income.
$1.50. And believe me, in this niche market, I am not laughing all the way to the bank. It was a lot of work to basically earn what in the Washington area is minimum wage.
in the Washington
I, by
area.
the way, would have to be selling 80 books a day to keep up with minimum wage if I had a full-time job at a fast food restaurant. Now, let's speak about DIA. DIA FOIA states that the 7,500 pages cannot be found so that the public can directly read them. They'll be a difficult read. They were written for me, but surprise, surprise, no one
7,500 page report was written for him.
But not the
Like,
book. Not the book, though.
What did you do?
Dude, you hear what this guy is saying, dude.
Yeah, it's the smoker. It's the smoking man in X-Files.
What's the word that I'm reaching for? He's an actor. He's reading a script. The script was written for him. It was put in the book. It was put in the report. This guy
is reading it.
This guy's a useful idiot. He is complicit in just doing whatever the fuck they tell him.
Yeah. I mean, if you are down with DEWs, then I question your kind of moral.
He's down with
judgment.
OPP, other people's productions.
Yeah. All right.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you bought me.
Yep.
They could. I and 12 other people have them. Just not bothering, or is there something more to this? These books are me, you, and George effort to further disclosure and are much more revealing than any congressional hearings have been so far. Now, this is my way of cataloging this or segmenting this. At the hearings and on the internet, there are 4 classes of individuals that I've observed. Truthful
this is rich.
descriptions of observations, but sometimes they are fooled by classified weapons testing or counterintelligence activities. That's fine.
Like I said.
Yeah, so he's saying that he's identifying, so like the different identifiers of a UAP, what do they call those? The identifiers or whatever.
Either way, he's saying what I just said earlier is that the stuff could be thrown off by other programs.
Yeah, so he's saying that there's 4 kinds of whistleblowers or people that are investigating this right now.
There are delusions, either from within their own minds or from, and I can't go into this, external influences.
Now that's the part I wanted to really talk to you about.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he could be talking about a DEW, or do you think he's talking about people?
It's on the possibilities list, okay? Because it's a big umbrella term. It could also just be simply what I was saying earlier is the bullshit programs they manufacture to surround the real one. It could be simply that.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I mean is is it possible he's talking about people were made to believe they saw something?
They could have just simply got dotied.
Yeah.
They could have simply been part of the B team that wasn't part of the A team, and they were told, we need you guys to go out to the field and check for UFOs. And then Team A flies over with a fucking F-117 contemporary variant, which is something that these people aren't familiar with, and it does wild stuff that people go, oh, we don't know anything that mankind can do that. We saw a UFO. That could be exactly what he was just saying, is that they're just they're being fed shit sandwiches.
Right. On purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that we can then have programs that we then roll out to the public when we need to say, were you part of a program that observed UFOs? And people go, yes.
Right. But why? Why?
It's called deception to cover for the one program that has the 6 bullshit ones around it. That's how secrecy, right? You were in the military, so you will yield that we have to have a level of secrecy. This is how they do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the standard operating procedure on how they surround the truth with bullshit.
Yeah.
And then when the public asks questions, they feed them shit sandwiches from the bullshit factory. That's what this guy's fucking doing. He's dealing with Jeremy Corbell. He's dealing with George Knapp. This is a fucking shit sandwich factory from top to bottom that I'm hearing today.
All right, get ready. Got another bite for you.
Get some cheese on
Unfortunately,
this.
in category 3, there are outright liars. They're unfortunately the minority. To some, I can tell you directly and by observing, raising the right hand is meaningless. The most dangerous, however, and prolific are individuals who have no idea what they are talking about, but speak with authority. Those are the ones you, George, and the public have to watch out for. Very
Telling George how to
hard
do his job.
discriminate versus, are they liars?
I thought they were those
Are they
guys.
delusional? Or do they have purpose? And remember, it is so. I alone.
Yeah, like
have
who's
5
fooling
to
who
10
here?
Emails. It is so easy to appear as a different person in the Counterintel world.
He's technically saying the things that I just said,
Okay,
that we
now
have
here's
all
the
these
tough
different
statement. I don't
scumbags.
suspect,
Yep.
wonder,
100%.
or harbor any suspicion that false statements have been made to Congress, to the Pentagon, to you, the press, and on the internet. I know they have been. I know it. Deliberately false, not just incorrect documents have been created about OSAP and Kona Blue and are currently in government files.
Literally what I was
This is
saying.
a surprise and a first state.
Now that makes me wonder if he's talking about Immaculate Constellation and
No,
what
let's
Matthew
just-
Brown discovered.
Yeah. Well, Matthew Brown claims to have fucking written it.
What?
Matthew Brown claims to be the author of Immaculate fucking Deception.
He sort of was, right? Like he pulled the different.
I don't believe
stories
that.
together.
Just like I don't believe Tom Clancy wrote a fictional story
Yeah.
called The Hunt for Red October. He didn't write that as a true story. I'm telling you, it is a true
Matthew
story.
Brown.
Tom Clancy wrote a book called The Hunt for Red October, which presented to the world as fiction. I'm telling you, it wasn't fiction, so that makes him not an author. Matthew Brown, I believe, has claimed to be the author of Immaculate Constellation. I don't believe that to be true. This guy stated that his name is on a book that he said other people, I forget the word that he used now, it wasn't assembled. He said it was assembled.
Yeah.
Right. So getting back to word selection, that's not him saying I wrote a book.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would love to have Matthew Brown on and get that clarification.
I would love for you to do that.
If he put that together or
I believe he has claimed, or other people have laid at his feet, that he's the author of Immaculate Constellation, and I do not believe that to be true.
No, yeah, I might have misunderstood, but from what I understood was it was a compilation of the different kind of shocking things he had found while organizing this data on the Pentagon servers. And
Immaculate Constellation was an actual program document.
Right. It had like the Lou Elizondo picture on the front and all that. That one you're talking about?
I'm not placing it to that.
Yeah, it had. He said like he took it to his director, and the guy saw Lou Elizondo on like the second or third page, and he's like, "Oh, forget about it. This is a joke. Don't worry about it."
I'm unfamiliar with this part.
Oh yeah, I did a whole.
From what
episode.
I misunderstand on this.
Yeah, I did a whole episode on it, made cartoons and everything, because I was so excited about the knowledge.
It was my understanding that Immaculate Constellation was some sort of a program in the government.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that being said, whoever was the author, I don't believe that was Matthew Brown, but what Immaculate Constellation was not something that Matthew Brown then pulled together as a mishmash of other things. Like
no, it was the Operation Immaculate Constellation, and then like the more shocking things bulleted, and that's what he authored and leaked to Knapp and Corbell.
Oh, so then theoretically he cherry picked some information to release,
right? Because, well, I don't know why, but
fair enough.
I don't know why, but basically, yeah, it was the Immaculate Constellation. The more shocking stuff in it was kind of like bulleted, from what I understand. And then I'll have to go back and watch it. I can't remember if he included other stuff or not, or if it was all under that program. But that was the program that had the black triangles over the Russian battleships.
Because this was assembled for you, Gabriel.
Huh?
Are you having trouble remembering because this was assembled for you? Did you get $7,000 for this post?
No, I've just done like 500 streams between them.
There's a deposit in your bank account that says Immaculate Conception Podcast.
Oh yeah, send it over, folks. Send it over. Send it on over. Oh man. All right, let's get back to this Joker.
I have reported there's a lot of it, some of the false information to the DOD, DOW Inspector General's office, providing the evidence. I requested that IG take no action against the individuals. No action because the falsehoods against, this is another strange one, against OSAP and Kona Blue, to my mind, have been ineffective. The initial reporting, let's go back to the day one, by the New York Times story in 2017 was totally inaccurate. Contrary to what some people claim, the authors knew my name and position at OSAP, yet never attempted to contact me. Likewise, the Washington Post. Politico contacted me within hours after the articles were published in the free publications, asking for my opinion. They knew my name. They had my phone number. Why didn't they contact me?
Now
that's an interesting point there, right? What if?
Because it's just part of the cover-up, and they've been told not to discuss it because then it would be outside the parameters of the controlled narrative. It would be for the same reason that I've gone public, and I haven't been contacted by the news media either, because they're told to stand down. That's all. It's called controlling the narrative. This is total standard operating procedure. If they ask questions, then he has to answer them. And then it would be outside of the control of the controlled narrative. This is total shenanigans. He's trying to make it out like it's a problem that they didn't contact him, which it is for we the people, but not for how they're trying to paint this picture. This is bullshit.
I can tell you're enjoying it.
This stuff, the whole controlled narrative and the whole entire government operation on this, it really agitates me, because to me it's so obvious, it's contrived. They're playing standard chess.
Yeah.
I can see the movement of the pieces on the board. I can see the collaboration. It's so fucking obvious. It's very agitating.
Well, to me, the thing is, if they're doing this, they're already so far past.
Of course they are.
This point, it's like.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. You're 1,000% right. If these are the moves that they're doing today because they planned on doing them 40 years ago, technically that means they've got us by the balls today, because they're already planning 50 years ahead of you and I, the average mortgage payers, right? Because you got bills to pay and you're focused on today. Mm-hmm. Right? What you're not focused on right now is that there's a chess game going on, and these guys, not only are they planning on their moves 50 years in the future. They have control mechanisms to keep you preoccupied and busy so that you can't even be in the position to make the right move in the future. So it's called inevitable fucking checkmate.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly feels that way. And I know that if it wasn't the UFOs, it'd just be something else, right? There's always gatekeepers.
COVID. Remember that COVID thing where everybody had to listen?
No,
Did that just happen overnight, or are we going to believe that there wasn't chess being played beforehand to set the stage to put everybody in checkmate?
What's COVID? I don't.
I think you've lost oxygen from mask wearing.
I've intentionally blacked it out. Yeah, exactly. I had no brain oxygen at that time. So, oh my gosh. All right, here we go.
I'm going to go top off my beverage.
You're good, buddy. I'll just go full screen with it for a minute.
Now, the Pentagon states that AATIP, really OSAP, was not a UFO program. They've changed their tune, but the Pentagon has never asked me about anything. They circumvented me and went to my colleagues, but not me. News reporters call me literally within the last week to this day, but only after the fact. There's no CNN, no Fox, CBS requests, nothing. Now, I don't like to be out there in the public view, but let's face it, you're not talking to the program managers, myself for a column on the two major UFO programs in the relatively recent past.
Well,
now,
we are.
Oh, you are, but that's. And right now, I'm basically limiting it to you because after my name and position in OSAP was prominently mentioned by George twice in the recent September congressional hearings, no contact has come from anyone except a known anti-disclosure reporter. In the second mentioning at the hearing, my integrity was questioned and George had to defend it. I have been requested to meet with AARO twice and have refused. The second time I was told, and I made the grammar a little better so I could read it to you. Holding a meeting with you in a secure space is very easy. Under our authorities, you do not need a current clearance. The law also grants us additional security authorities. Under a special program, we can hold discussions at any level, including human. Very interested in speaking with you. This is what the email says, and learning your insights into what we are currently working on. What does that mean? And there are no legal impediments regarding your issues of interest, regarding their issues of interest. Well, what are they? Any investigative information held by the IG would not be an angle of information we are interested in. You have been lied to and you're not interested in it? Then what exactly are you interested in? The interview and information discussed would also be held in confidence, as we have demonstrated with all persons we have interviewed since 2022 when this began. Oh, by the way, you should have received notice last Friday that your AAWSAP request completed staffing. That's on the 2 books. So that's good news. Now AARO is reviewing books.
Wow.
What is the purpose of that? Now, not correct. Assuming authority is not necessarily having it. 3 months later, I found out that the former deputy director of AARO was disparaging UAP at Paranormal Connection, a clear violation of not disclosing activities confidentially discussed. Now, the interviewer at the time said, this is a leading question, DIA's unofficial paranormal ghost hunt program at Skinwalker Ranch, where they went rogue. Well, now what, if that's not a preconception, I don't know what is. The response from the deputy director, they were looking for werewolves. The second response was, Kona Blue was established as the home for all these paranormal UFO crap. Now, that's from the deputy director of AARO. Now, that is a very objective view at UFOs. Now, this may come as a surprise to some people, but fundamental Christian or opposition to OSAP either did not exist. I know that it did, but it was ineffective, and I know that for a fact. In the eyes of DIA, OSAP was completely successful in achieving its objectives. Now remember,
So the fundamental Christianism thing, that gets to the Collins elite, I believe is what he's talking about there. Which is something Elizondo said he ran into a lot. So he's basically saying either Elizondo's full of shit or we didn't experience the same thing dealing with the same subject.
I'll go with the prior.
Yeah, I think so. Just based on history. So yeah, I mean, this is what's frustrating, right? Because these guys, they're only a stone's throw. He's only a stone's throw away from Elizondo talking to Knapp and Corbell. I mean, Knapp and Corbell are like best friends with Elizondo.
Right.
So,
like, this stuff is maddening to listen to, Gabe, but I appreciate that we're doing this because, like, I hope that the audience just catches on to what I'm saying. Like,
exactly.
this makes me think of the 1975 movie The Network. Like, I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore. Right. Like, this is we shouldn't be suffering this level of propaganda still. That's all this is. This is contrived. This is controlled. This is limited hangout. There's no actionable intelligence. If AARO's so bad, start arresting people.
Right.
And I'm not even saying they're not bad. I would say arrest them. I do believe they're bad. Let's go get them. I think it's total shenanigans. But because it's these clowns doing it that aren't mad.
Yeah. And that's what's interesting.
Calling for action.
You have this group calling out another group, AARO.
Right. They're all in on it together. It's like Democrats and Republicans, like it's from the perspective of we the people.
Right. Yeah.
Lock them all up. Right.
Yeah. It's maddening. Okay. Yeah. Well, because there is a portion here where Corbell tries to press him a little bit on the UFO thing. That's kind of interesting. So
this is important, and it's near the conclusion right here. Only believe OSAP and Kona Blue information directly read by you in the 4 books. This is to the public. Or if you hear directly statements from myself or Colin Kelleher. Something serious is going on.
What the fuck? Something serious is going on.
Definition of controlling the narrative. Only listen to what I say or came through the approved channels in the assembled work of literature. Holy cow.
Yeah. And it's a little concerning because I know George Knapp, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, came out and said something very similar about him and Jeremy Corbell. That basically, if you don't hear it from us, don't trust it. We're the UFO guys. You know what I mean?
I'm just going to say, if you don't hear it from Gabe and I, it's not true.
I do not want to be in that position.
If you hear it from Jeremy Corbell or Joe Rogan, it's guaranteed to be a lie. Right?
Yeah,
I don't seriously, like, right? If we said those things, people would laugh at us, and call us out for being con jobs. But now these con jobs say it, and then the lemmings get Pied Pipered over a cliff. Which I'm sorry, like, as much as these scumbag Pied Pipers are a problem, part of the problem of the equation, the fucking lemmings are a problem too. The people will so readily follow the Pied Pipers right over the cliff. right?
Yep.
I was raised as a kid, right? Who's stupider, the fool or the fool that follows?
Right. Exactly.
So right
And
now,
that's why
I'm
we
gonna
do
call
these
this guy a
spaces.
fool. Yeah, I'm going to call this guy a fool. But
Yeah.
I see in the community, I see more fools following.
Right.
Who's the problem?
It's true. That jump right on it. That I've already pre-ordered his next book.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they're like, I don't understand how you can question him. He's a government agent that's telling us the truth. And it's like, did you just hear what you just said?
Right. And it's not about shitting on people, folks. It's just about being as critical of them as you are of everyone else.
Exactly. And it's the information that we should be critical of. It's the presentation. I don't give a like this guy. I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. Sure. He outside of the job that he's doing.
Right.
He could be the nicest guy on the planet, right? But when I'm on the job site, right? If I'm on the job site and I see a dude screwing up a task and I bite his head off, it's not a personal attack against him.
That's work, it's business.
It's right. He's screwing up, so it's my job to dial him in.
Right. I can't imagine you yelling at someone on the work site, Eric.
That would never happen, Gabe.
I mean, that's why I like doing these, because we can't get caught up in the hype, right? Like the Avi Loeb 3-Eye Atlas thing. I mean, people literally losing their minds. I don't know. I felt compelled I probably did like 2, 3, 4 spaces on it, because like, folks, calm down. It's a rock. Like,
right.
if you're all about the data, right? If it's like data. Okay, well, there's been 2 others that in recorded history. So how accurate can that data be? They're like, it's showing signs that no other interstellar object is shown. What, the other 2? Come on, folks. Like, rein it in a little, like let's use our heads. Don't get caught up in the nonsense.
We've never seen anything like this before. That's correct, because we've never seen anything like this before.
Right. Yep. And that's going to happen. We're getting all kinds of new data. Well, yeah, it's new.
What happens the first time you see something?
Yep. We have a whole bunch of new equipment we didn't have when we saw the last one. So like these are all factors into what we're seeing. And
Gabe, you're speaking too much practical reality right now.
I know people are tuning out.
There's a Pied Piper that's blowing on his flute, trying to lead people over the cliff, and you're like trying to bring them back with like facts and stuff, and
I know,
with logic and reason.
I love the mystery, and I love the story, and I love the excitement and the community, all of it. But like, we have to keep our feet on the ground,
right?
I
love the idea of the truth coming out, but I see the forces working against it. It's like I want the ball in the end zone. I really do, right?
Yeah.
But imagine like I'm on the defense and I see my whole team running after the guy that faked him out, and everyone believes they got the ball, and they're like, "Come on, Eric, just be part of the team. We're gonna get him." And it's like, what, guys? Shut up with that. Like I'm trying to go after the dude that really has the ball, and you idiots are running in the wrong direction, and now you're mad at me because I'm yelling at you that you're running in the wrong direction. Like that's what's going on in disclosure.
Yes. You have to, just like you have an open mind about could we be being visited by aliens, you have to have an open mind about could this be a reflection off of a piece of space debris?
Absolutely.
You have to be willing to consider all of it.
Absolutely. And there absolutely can totally be aliens, and the liars can be taking advantage of our desire to want to know about those aliens to cover up for the massive amount of monopolized technology that they've been wielding for decades.
It's so many levels, Eric.
Absolutely.
It's so many levels. It's not just the government.
Right. You're correct, and I used that term too soon. It's not just the government; it's way above the government. It's the manufacturers, it's the corporations. It's not nation states that are the problem. They are the puppets. They're blockers. So in this whole football analogy, the government is just like blockers for the guy who actually has the ball, and it's not the government.
Yep. Which is fucking terrifying, you know?
Right.
To think about, because it's all like when shit comes to shit, then you really see what's going on. Like with COVID, the pandemic, you know, when shit really hit the fan, then you get a clear picture of what's what.
Mm-hmm.
And when COVID hit the fan, like it was never more clear to me. I mean, it was already clear to me, but it was even more clear, the class divide in this country, how there's a whole group of people that are like, yeah, shut it down. It's totally fine. Because financially they can do that. And then there's a whole rest of us that can't do that.
and then they got subsidized to acquiesce.
Right.
Everybody started getting their COVID checks.
Yes.
Because the chess players foresaw that coming and were prepared.
Absolutely.
They were quite a few steps ahead because they knew there would be pandemonium if they didn't have the checks to distribute.
Right. Right. And I'll tell you
COVID would have been different if they didn't cut the checks, right?
You know what I'm still waiting for, Eric? I'm still waiting on the story of all the people that invested right before COVID hit in those drug companies. Because I bet there's a pretty interesting cast of characters there.
I mean, there's so many things that we can look at. How many people invested in 3M N95 masks? Sorry, N95 masks.
Or had manufacturing plants set up and ready to go right before.
Bingo.
Yeah. Why isn't that journalism being done?
Oh, because they've been subsidized by the government to cover the stories that the government's paying for, Gabe.
I can't do it all, Eric. I can't. Oh, okay. All right. Let's get back to this Joker. Here we go.
In my opinion, you all are in the middle of what I can only describe as a major and repetitive counterintelligence operation by unknown multiple operators or organizations and for unknown reasons. Big question. What is so important about OSAP or Kona Blue? Now I use the past tense. For Kona Blue, I shouldn't be using the past tense. What is so important? I don't know. The public.
Kona Blue, the proposal? How could a proposal still be active, Eric?
I don't know. I thought you said earlier that they didn't move it forwards, Gabe.
Yeah.
I'm confused. There
no
seems
funding,
to be contradictions going on.
So weird.
To answer that. In my opinion, we're all being played like a fiddle, mainly me because I was slow to recognize it.
Whoa.
But there's just too much that seems to be too focused that is just unbelievable that's being directed toward me. And I told George, I have even been criticized on my appearance and demeanor. It is what?
You're a vampire, right? Aren't you a
vampire?
That's one of the comments.
Hey,
someone called him a vampire.
I'm a veteran.
Listen, I mean, this is shenanigans, Gabe. Like this guy is
I
like.
told Jim, good guy.
Imagine if he went into fucking X Spaces with the stuff that he would have. Like he's like, I've even been criticized on what color shirt I wear to match my socks, and that's just really unfounded and unreal. Like this is ridiculous. So this is now
feelings.
Right. This is now rich guy stuff. This is rich guy world. Okay.
Oh, man.
So
yeah,
this is this guy. I'm sorry. This is my understanding of things. I've been around rich people. This guy was directed to do this job, and he didn't realize that he was going to get any heat for it, let alone the ridiculous heat that just he identified.
Right. Didn't think he was going to get his hands dirty.
I'm not enjoying this task that I was directed to attend to. I once had someone made a negative comment in my direction. on the internet.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so I tried to fast forward through that nonsense. See if we got
So
through it.
ask away. Remember, again, I'm limited to what's been approved,
Yeah.
but each time you're going to get more and more because I'm for disclosure, but I'm not uncontrolled. I want the public to be steered properly, not for any bad reasons, but people are not learning what they need to know.
Steered properly.
I can't, like, this guy is literally, this guy is confirming every accusation I've thrown at his feet since this started.
Yeah, absolutely. See, it's this is why I love having you on, because it's so
I never
obvious.
saw any of this. This was happening real time, I stated where I was on this. This guy has confirmed every accusation that I have thrown at his feet by his own fucking words.
Yep, absolutely.
No, because they're getting bogged down. And by the way,
And
when people
Bogged down. Welcome
And
to
what-
X Spaces.
oh my god. And when he doesn't confirm it through his actions and what he's saying, he's accusing the other group of doing it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, he's the
with
pot
negative
calling the
options.
kettle black.
Right. Absolutely.
observations about either of those programs. On the internet, who are you dealing with? Who are you really dealing with there? In any case, ask away.
CIA.
There's a bunch at the back from what you just said. I think if I were to summarize in my language what you're saying is that you are realizing there is a sort of human intelligence campaign that is going on.
He's just
that it's
realizing this.
insidious, that it's prolific, and that it's doing a good job of trying to dissuade and move the public from understanding any core reality about UFOs.
Did you
Is that-
hear the
Yeah.
pride when he said that?
Exactly.
Doing a good job?
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Because he
I'm
knows
glad
he's the
you
fucking
caught
guy
up
doing
because
it.
George and I know for a fact that this has been going on, and we know that AARO is a big part of it. And from what you just said, without you naming names or identifying specific organizations, it's very clear to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you believe AARO to be more of a counterintelligence program than anything else, right?
they're participating. Now, the individual whose email I read is very experienced in that area, but may honestly believe they have authorities they're claiming. Well, I tell you, there's some organizations in the intelligence community who claim all kind of authorities that they do not have. And so you have to be cautious when people's managers tell them that. And what are they going to do? Say, oh, no, we don't. No, they're going to, as best they can, not circumvent their managers, but play it down. Because they don't have the human can be openly discussed because by who we have that.
Okay, and for those that are wondering what human is, it's human intelligence. So this is there's different kinds of intelligence collecting, right, Eric? You have signals intelligence and SIGINT, and then you have
absolutely.
Human intelligence. So this is the where the rubber meets the road. This
Absolutely.
is like what they make
I'm
cool
really
movies
happy that you
about.
brought this up too, because this is playing with words also that we see in the community, the Pied Pipers and stuff like that, right? So you're clarifying. There is what they call human, okay, SIGINT, right? So correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, in the vernacular and legalese, SIGINT would be non-human intelligence, correct?
Right. Yep.
By definition?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right?
You're.
It's a technicality, but I'm right.
Yeah, I guess
There's
so.
human. Yeah. Okay, there's human.
Right.
It's a technical
And then
term, and it's very specific, right? SIGINT could also be referred to as non-human intelligence.
Boy, wouldn't that be something?
This is what I'm getting at, Gabe, is how they play with words. Okay. So they're bringing out this NHI non-human intelligence. We got non-human intelligence issues. We got non-human intelligence on this. It literally would mean any fucking conversation that was gathered outside of the definition of human.
Right. Yeah.
Done.
That's
Playing with words.
that would be insane if that
They're
that turns out
playing
being the
with
case.
words, Gabe, because they can say non-human intelligence all day long. Now, take into consideration what I just told you. Now, pay attention to all the conversations that are going on where they say, we have non-human intelligence. Was it SIGINT?
Right. Yeah.
Was it every
totally could
other?
be.
Was it every other known form of intelligence that you're now playing with words and acting like it's UFOs when it's completely known man-made intelligence gathering and or information, and you fuckers are playing with words to confuse people because they're not abreast of all of the chess moves that you have available. Yeah.
Right.
NHI just means non-human.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something if it turns out that that's what they're talking about? And UAP just ends up being like plasma in the sky, you know?
Or just information gathered through SIGINT.
Yeah. It could
And
be
they're
that
playing
as
with
well.
words. It's we got non-human intelligence. Yeah, it's called SIGINT, guy.
Right. Wow. Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, that it's not like they would lie and deceive to us, Gabe.
Okay, well, let's clarify for our audience.
No,
If
I
we're talking
just
about
mean like if that ends up being the case, like that would really be crazy because it would really
Mark my words
You'd have-
on this, Gabe. When they
Yeah.
say non-human intelligence, they're just clarifying that it was not gathered through human.
Yeah. See, I've always thought of non-human intelligence as like it's just another word for an alien.
Because they're leading the witness and playing with words.
Right.
When technically and legally they're not lying
But
when
all
they
that-
say
all that
NHI.
stuff, it just seems like what they're doing. If that's the case, that's true.
right, they're being
Then
honest when
why-
they say it, but they're fucking around.
Right. Why are they putting a Band-Aid on a permanent wound? You know? Like
Because they don't actually
They're
care
just-
about the triage required.
they're just kicking the can.
Exactly.
You know? And yeah, I guess that's what the government does, so that doesn't surprise me either.
Right.
They'd
it's-
rather spend all this
it's-
money hiding it than just come out
because
and-
it's back to that whole if you believe that what these people are doing is trying to disseminate the truth,
yeah.
it looks one way. If
Right.
you appreciate that these people are on the team of the deceivers, it looks a different way.
Absolutely.
That's all that's
Absolutely.
going on right now. So
Yeah.
I see these people as the deceivers,
Hmm.
and I'm dissecting their word selection
I love it.
and following the legalese. So again, when they say non-human, there's a lot of other int options that make
Yeah.
their statement true while it having nothing to do with UFOs and aliens.
Yeah.
And legally, they have covered their proverbial asses by saying what they're saying.
Crazy. Fucking bastards.
Son of a
Five
bitch.
quick things based on what he said.
Fucking
I just want to get
bastards.
to them. So let's try to
Here we
make
go.
this
Here's-
like really clear question.
I think
and
Jeremy
answer
tries
because
to
there
do
was
some
so much you
hard-hitting
just said.
journalism here.
But so first and foremost,
Get ready for some Pulitzer Prize stuff. Here we go.
AARO was aware of the security review status of your books. So somehow they're
Apparently, and directly stated it. They were the first two were not sent there. I was asked for them, and they bought copies. Now, why is DOPSR communicating that to them? That's a big question. I don't know the answer. Are they just interested in getting it quickly?
well, I don't know.
I
It
don't
feels
know.
it feels
Technically, if they
meddling,
bought
and so I
copies,
wanna
they're
put on
supporters.
top of that, something I noticed, which is in the last hearing when George and I were nominating people and going through reviews with them and security reviews with them and introducing them to people and going through all these meetings. One thing I said, and they promised me, is that AARO would not be involved in any way. No communication to AARO. This is just free going to Congress. People could know that their information would not be shared with AARO. That turned out not to be true. There was a leak in Congress where they were directly sharing information of people that George and I were nominating. And in some cases, people were contacted, for kind of pre-reviews with AARO. So AARO was meddling, and I actually put in a request for this to be followed down by Congress. So now we're seeing another infiltration of AARO from the human intelligence perspective. But I might not fully understand that. You said something.
NHI perspective.
You said
Gabe, why do you think Jeremy Corbell never reached out to me?
I don't know.
I'm a whistleblower from AARO and the
'cause
Intelligence Committee, South Pole Station. I mean, not for nothing. Why do these people never reach out to me? This guy in the middle here is complaining that nobody reached out to him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm gonna call the same ambulance on that one right now.
Right.
Right.
Well, they have
How
like
come
the same...
Jeremy Corbell never reached out to me? How come he never reached out to Colonel Heckert, who was an SR-71 pilot that testified alongside me in June 23? Why is there this selectivism on who these mother fudgers engage with?
That's exactly what it is, Eric. It's the cool club, right?
I am not in the cool kids club.
No, because you didn't say the right thing or do the right thing or fucking, whatever they
I
needed
didn't
you to
acquiesce
do.
when these folks reached out.
Yeah.
So I said from day one, AARO is screwed up. I also said from day one that David Grush, Jake Barber, and Ross Coulthart reached out to me immediately after the event, and I told them to go scratch because of the conversations that we had, and I can only assume that put me on the no-fly list for Jeremy Corbell also.
I would not be surprised at all.
Right? These are my experiences, and it's very challenging to watch this stuff and listen to these guys whine all day long about how nobody's contacting them when literally they're being spotlighted and handed books to author, where this guy literally just said, AARO bought my books.
Yeah.
Right? That's what he said, plural. How many did they need? So this is one of the things that I have suggested to the community, okay? People that write books are funded by the alphabet agencies because you know what, Gabe, how do we know who's buying the books?
Well, I think that's
right.
true.
So like if I wrote a book right now, right, if the CIA wanted to back me, right, if they wanted to back me, here's an avenue how they can do it, right? A, they write a book for me. I get to sign my name to it, right? And then I'm an author. Right. And then no one else buys my book but the CIA. Right. They order 100,000 copies. What did he say? 80 books a day is required. How do they even know these numbers? Who looks into this stuff? Right. So maybe they are actually buying 80 books a day and he's wholly funded because now AARO's buying his books and the CIA buys his books and the DIA buys his books. Right. So when we see these people that are out in the community as published authors and we're supposed to listen to them, could not that also be part of the chess game, Gabe?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think
we manufacture these pillars of conversation, the Pied Pipers. A, hand them the book. B, purchase the book back from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now put them on tour. Have Jeremy Corbell go talk to them because they wrote a book. And you can ask him about what's in the book because the book's got approved content in it.
Right.
And he's never going to speak outside of what he's approved to say because he's already said it in this interview.
Yeah. Well,
ask me about what's in the book.
Yeah.
I can't talk about anything. Everything that I know is in the book.
Let's see how far he's willing to go here.
We can even discuss human, and you go, huh? Can you explain what is concerning about that to our audience?
Human is controlled by the organization that gathers the human. They cannot cross the lines in discussing it without a ton of paperwork. I went in and out of HUMID constantly because I couldn't use it in my documents. I mean, yeah, I was reading it and it was like, well, what's good's this? I can't share it in my documents. Same here. I can't just go to Congress. Mr. Borland summarized it very well when he was directly asked, can you talk to us in a skiff? And he said, well, if you have the clearances, the proper clearances and your subcategories and whatever that you need that I have.
That was pretty funny at that hearing when they were asking that. He's like, I could talk to you in a skiff if you have the clearance. Otherwise we're going to go to skiff. It's going to be quiet.
It was actually really funny for me to hear that because I went to the skiffs and I read the paperwork and I still possess it. And what these people are saying is bullshit.
What, Borland or these guys?
All these guys that say that I couldn't go to the skiff unless you have the clearances. That's what these skiffs were. These skiffs were a room, okay, where no matter what, how do I put this? No matter what this guy's clearance was, okay, he can walk into the skiff because the skiffs were set up for people of every version of clearance to disseminate their information in the skiff, okay?
So you
and
could...
then when you exit the skiff, you have to now return to following your NDA, your clearance, or whatever. So what these guys are saying is a bold-faced fucking lie. And it was the whole purpose of the skiffs was to be an open forum where you show up, you share your information because the skiff was set up to receive it.
But you can't, even in a skiff, you can't receive information you're not read in on. Are you saying in a skiff you can?
Yes, that's what I learned from going to the skiff. These skiffs were set up to be all-encompassing so that the people hosting the skiff can receive everything. So this is a bullshit thing that's being put to the public that I know through direct first-hand experience because I read the fucking paperwork and signed it.
Yeah. Do you have it?
Yeah.
Did they give it to you? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You should
Actually, I think I lost one page, but it was the page. It was the page that had the names on it. But this is what I'm saying. So this is, again, direct first-hand experience. I'm not allowed to share the names or the location of the facility, so I think that I destroyed that page because I didn't want to get.
Oh, that no! I didn't
want to get
part
busted.
About the.
Yeah, I remember this very clearly.
Yes,
I remember this very clearly. There was conversations on it. There was paperwork. We went over this stuff before I gave my testimony. It was clarified.
That's something that I know a few people have said. So.
Right. It was clarified. That was a room that was set up. That's why it was all domain. Like even AARO, as fucked up as it was prepared to receive all information from all domains.
Right.
By definition. That no matter what organization you belong to, no matter what your clearance is, you can talk in that room. What they do with that information wound up becoming screwed up. But all of these people that are saying that, well, I can't talk to you and you're not approved and this skiff isn't right, they're full of shit liars.
Huh. Well, we should look at proving that because there's been a few people like in the, making the rounds that have all said that. So I know Borland said it and
right.
I'm pretty sure Graves said it. Or not Graves, but the other pilot. Oh God, why can't I remember his name? The Nimitz guy.
Here's what's going on with that equation. The good people that have nothing to hide entered the room. The bad people that are team black and have shit to hide, that are terrified of going in there and having to testify for the illegal activities that they've been involved with, love saying what this guy's saying. I can't talk to you. You don't have the clearance. Go fuck yourself, scumbag.
Right.
Have-
Well, actually, I
he
think
has,
Dylan Borland's actually okay guy.
Yeah, I can.
I don't know the deal, but I'm talking about this
Well,
guy
good
on
luck
screen that
getting
just
Yeah.
said it.
Right.
Yeah.
His point was, I don't even know if you can get clearance to hear everything I have to say. So even if I want to tell you, I'm restricted by your ability to hear it. Next
Right.
question. Why did you say we cannot talk about Kona Blue in past tense? I need you to elaborate on that.
Kona Blue is much more than Kona Blue. I can answer that directly, but I can't go into details. Kona Blue was a compartment. It was also a program. You can, if
Okay, so there he just said it. It was a program.
And a compartment.
Just-
Go back to
yeah.
compartmentalization.
Wasn't a proposal. This is something
Right.
that they put into play.
Yep.
if people knew what they were reading that was released, knew what is between the lines on what DHS, Department of Homeland Security, released, which, by the way, was a very good write-up.
DHS is way too
There's
new
two
an
sentences
organization
let
to
people
be
find
in
it.
deep with Kona
A
Blue.
very good write-up. But the thing is what's
They should
to
almost have
do
nothing to do with each other.
compartment. Now,
Really?
am I agreeing with what has been said?
Wasn't
in the
DHS
DHSs
post
and
Patriot
what has
Act
been said by
9/11 stuff?
AARO about Kona
Yeah, Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, that was Patriot Act.
It's the fucking
9/11
TSA.
stuff. Yeah.
These
Yeah.
things have nothing
All
to
I
do
can
with
say
each
is-
other.
Blue?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to read between the lines and assume that there is some active element or component to what we are calling Kona Blue. Let it be an operation, a compartment, whatever. That you can't talk
It's
about
not
it.
a compartment. That's secure.
Okay, so it's not.
A program
He just contradicted
continues.
himself.
It can be unfunded. It can be
It's a
funded. It
program.
can be temporarily.
He called it a
funded.
compartment
Money
before.
Can go in and
He
out.
did.
So a UFO study program could continue under that.
And
name.
remember what we asked.
It's probably some college research program somewhere. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
In the rear. It was with a lot of thought. Column wrote it in the rear portions of Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. He suggested private money going in from multiple sources. And I can tell you now that caught people's eye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, George, that
Okay, so Kona Blue is being run by Target. Is that what we're hearing here?
Looking for private funding so that it can't be FOIA'd.
Mhm.
And so that the fruits of the labors of that organization can now be moved towards the corporatocracy versus the government.
Same old
Par
tricks.
for the fucking course.
Just what we did with Roswell.
We get the government to legitimize a desire, but then we distance ourselves from the government by getting private investment and contractors involved, which goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that if you're barking up the tree of the government, they don't have the truth to give you.
Yeah, it's all
It's in the
backroom
private
deals
sector.
and yep, absolutely. Wow.
The government is being used like
that's new to me,
players.
Isn't that great?
It is.
Oh,
You know, Dr. Lacatski, the picture that's been painted to the public by assorted people and debunkers and
By Jeremy Corbell.
counterintelligence operatives is that Kona Blue was a crackpot idea. It went to Department of Homeland Security. There were some discussions, but they eventually decided there's no value in this. That's what we've been told. There's no value. It's a bunch of crazy stuff going on. And it is completely contrary to the process that you described in the earlier books.
Absolutely.
That Dr. Tara O'Toole and others recognized the value of it. They wanted it to go forward. Somewhere up above intervened, and the public is told it was killed right there.
Yes. And that the program was not killed. You can't kill Kona Blue. At one point in the near future, you'll start seeing it because
What does that even
I
mean?
suggest to Dr.
It means he
Kelleher
contradicted himself from the
that there
front end of
be
the
a book
conversation
after
again.
these four. and I want
You
the
can't
public to
kill Kona
participate
Blue.
because it
So
will
it's
be
active.
my interpretation.
When
and
earlier he
my
said it didn't get
statements
funded.
that were made in
Right.
DHS.
Well, that was the
I
paperwork.
was not in favor of some things because I knew that I could never ask Congress for that amount of money. There was no way.
So George, go ahead.
So the government never funded
Dr.
Kona Blue,
O'Toole.
but he got it privately
Dr. Tara
funded.
O'Toole,
So
you met
it
with her,
continued on
she's
and
a-
now became outside of FOIA requests. I mean,
Right.
what the fuck? I mean, that's all that's going on right now, which goes, this goes right back to what I was saying, is that
Yeah.
this is it's in the corporation's hands, and the corporations lobby the politicians to get them to have a conversation about what needs to be looked into. Oh, the government doesn't have the money. Oh, don't worry about the government having the money because we got some freaking venture capitalists that are willing to invest in it. And then if it turns out that we ever find anything out, we can give you double a return on your investment because instead of giving you 13 reports that are bullshit, we'll give you 26 reports that are bullshit.
Yeah. It just makes you wonder, with all this involvement from the private industry, why we haven't seen more leaks. Or are the leaks, the random leaks you see on Reddit and whatnot, is that what those are? Because I know like the Bass stuff, that all got leaked on Reddit, you know? So I don't know.
Because, Gabe, to be completely honest, because they have the capacity to filter and put the right nefarious people in the right places, to pay them accordingly, to package them out, they're completely content. That's all. It's just that simple. Bad people
Yeah.
exist. That's the problem with good people, is they don't realize that bad people exist and are willing to do dirty deeds done dirt cheap.
Right. Oh yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
It's just the facts of the matter, is that you can buy and sell these people and they are very willing to acquiesce and do it. And there's enough money to pay all of these people to live very happy lives, to be part of the shenanigans. And we, the average mortgage payer, would like to think that that's not possible. That somebody would say something and break ranks. Well, you're just wrong.
Yeah, you do. I mean, sometimes it happens occasionally in the government, but and occasionally with.
But the government's not where the truth is at.
Right, and if it is, it's very limited. Right, it's
super limited, controlled.
Tiny piece.
There's all kinds of paperwork and control mechanisms and NDAs that people will get in trouble. In the private sector, that doesn't technically exist.
Right.
Yeah, and you can say, yes, well, some corporations have NDAs, but NDAs in a way are also admitting to things to people, and they don't actually even want to deal in NDAs because it's more like the mafia, where it's like, hey, it's a friend of ours, it's a friend of yours. You're better off just speaking in vagaries because then you don't admit to anything.
Right. Yeah,
if you
I know.
sign NDAs, you're admitting to things that are occurring.
Yeah, Eric.
And when you're dealing with illegalities in the private sector, you don't want to have NDAs admitting to anything, because then if there is a court case, then anything on paper can be subpoenaed and figured out. So people just don't understand how fucked up shit works. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know Eric Davis just came out the other day and said that if Trump would give him an executive order relieving him of his NDAs, he would testify to everything he knew about UFO.
I heard that. And you know what that made me think immediately?
Nonsense.
No shit.
Yeah, I mean...
Right? Like, so, like, that's it's basically saying, like, if my master took my leash off, I'd run around the park.
Right. And I don't know how much more Eric Davis...
And that's also like directing people to him, right? It's painting a picture like he has all the information and we should focus on him. right?
Yeah.
Look at what's really being presented there and what picture is being painted.
Right.
But I can't say anything because I have my leash on.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it presupposes that he has the truth without him ever having to say a word.
yeah.
Could he be lying, Gabe?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna
Could
say,
that
like,
be trying to focus people like a Pied Piper again?
yeah, like he already went in front of the UAP disclosure fund.
Gabe, it turns out I never told you this before, but I have 27 NDAs. And
Oh yeah.
if it turns out that those NDAs would be removed, boy, I could tell you more than anyone else in the disclosure community. But son of a bitch,
Right.
because of those NDAs, I'm going to have to
I'll
end
have
this
to write a book.
conversation. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You know what? I'm going to have to write a book, and when AARO buys them all up. Right? Like, so
Brilliant
these are things like
person.
anybody can say these things,
Yeah.
but it's who's spotlighted that
Yeah.
gets the attention and the promotion. Oh, and the investment, because remember what we were talking about before about the mass media and the internet being part of that? So, like, when people make these posts, is it impossible to consider that somebody's boosting the post?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
You
I'm
can
sure,
invest money,
yeah.
right? If I gave you $1,000 a month and said, Gabe, do me a favor, take this $1,000 and boost all of your posts, grow your account, get bigger. Wouldn't that just practically function?
I think that's how it's designed to work. Yeah.
Right? That's like how the algorithms work, right?
Mhm.
So what if I gave you $7,000 a month to grow your account? What if I gave you $7,000 a post to grow your account?
Mm-hmm.
So these are all the things that we really need to consider when these people make such statements, is that there are monies that are invested to make sure that these statements are heard more than others.
Yeah. And Eric Davis already went in front of the UAP disclosure fund and told Rep Burleson that there were insectoids, greys, Nordics, and reptilians.
Mhm.
So, like, I don't know how much more he could possibly say.
We have
Without
all of
an
these people
NDA.
coming out of the woodwork now suggesting that the UFO activity is demons. Have you noticed that?
Oh, that's been going on for a long time. Yeah.
Understood, but it
Yeah.
seems to have amped up a bit, right? So in the grand scheme of things, since they've provided no information to support their suggestions, how do they know they're not angels? If they're not UFOs, right? If they're not UFOs and they're not aliens and they're going to jump right into their demons, well, the Bible says there's angels and demons. If everything we're seeing is demons, how do they know that? How do they know they're not angels? What's going on? And if they're finding all of the demons now, where are the angels? What's going on? This seems again to be contrived and more Pied Pipering for the results of a good outcome in the chess game.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just a crazy subject to talk about and to think about. And I think, I know
it makes the
Pasolka
topic crazy by injecting these things.
Well, there's some relevance to it. I mean, like if you read Pasolka's book, it is what we're seeing, what we're describing, we're seeing in the skies, and the stories people say they experience are very similar to what people were saying thousands of years ago. And it's just
Understood.
that the interpretations have been different.
The technologies that we have today to wield against people to accomplish the same thing was available in antiquity by technique.
Yeah, well,
so all of these things can have been going on for eons, but once again, if it's simply that mankind is wielding these technologies that we don't want people to know about, there are also technologies that can be used to manipulate those people from understanding what's going on, similar to in antiquity, there were techniques. So directed energy weapons, the whole voice to skull thing is just a modern technology for an ancient technique. It's called voice throwing. It's called mimicry. Those were ancient techniques. 1,000 years ago, somebody could walk into the room and throw their voice, and you would think that it's a voice coming from somewhere else, potentially right in your head. Well, if that person has the skill of mimicry, they can now throw their voice in your head, in your voice.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
So that's
definitely
now we're
people could
talking
have been.
V2K, which is a modern technology, which is a bastardization of an ancient technique.
Yeah, I mean, people could have been manipulated. I think she's talking about more like UFO incidents, like cases where there's big things in the sky, or cases
Fair enough.
where like
and I don't doubt
bishops
those
were
things
like
could occur.
levitating, and
Mhm.
like she even covers like the Joan of Arc
Mhm.
thing, and she uses it as
Fair
an
enough.
example to like don't everybody, because there's this thing where everybody's like, oh, if NHI is talking to you and they're going to download information, take that download. And her whole thing is like, don't, you don't have to take that. You don't have to say yes. Basically, if you listen to all these stories where people talk about interactions with these beings and accepting these downloads of information, there's always a point where they have a choice. Like they can say yes or they can say no. And her whole thing was like, well, you can say no. You don't have to say yes.
This again goes back to, we have modern bastardized technologies of ancient techniques. So through the application of adepts that were good at throwing their voices, mimicry, and things like that, through the application of these things over time, you get the ability to paint a picture, which is also putting thoughts and images into people's heads, technically. So to say that people saw things in antiquity does not, how should I say this? We cannot discount the fact that these still could also have been ancient techniques to make people think they saw things.
Sure. Yeah.
Which
I'm
brings us
open to
right
anything.
back. Right. Like that's all I'm trying to communicate, is that it's on the possibilities list. I'm not trying to say that.
Oh, you're not going to hurt my feelings, buddy. I didn't write the book.
I'm just trying to throw out that we need to really step back and get a bird's eye view of how screwed up stuff can have been for a really long time.
Right.
And I really believe that in antiquity there were techniques, and today there are technologies.
Right. But what if it's really angels and demons the whole time?
I'm open to that possibility, and I find it funny and interesting and peculiar that contemporarily, when we start talking about nefarious technologies being applied, the defenders of disinformation start saying, well, it's all demons. And it's like, well, hold on a second. That's a statement that you haven't supported. Like everything else, right? If anybody else gets on the podium and makes a statement, we should ask them for verifiable evidence. But nobody's challenging these people when they make this statement.
Yeah.
Nobody that I have seen suggest that aliens, UFOs, NHI, whatever the fuck you want to call it, all of these people that are suggesting that are demons have done nothing other than make the suggestion, which is called leading the witness again.
Yeah, it's a frustrating field to try to cover when you have so many people fucking it up, and trying to.
There's a lot of factions vying to be king of the hill.
Yeah, it's it's like this unregulated
Bingo. That's exactly what I discussed
knowledge.
with Skiffs in DC. There are rogue factions operating without oversight, which means unregulated.
Right. Yeah.
And therein lies the problem. They are above the ability for the government to govern them. That's the problem. That's where we are today. There are rogue factions with monopolized technology that are operating without oversight, and they can do whatever they want to do because they are in a position of non-regulation. That's where we're at today. And then they get to produce propaganda, A, on their own behalf, B, through the government, to manufacture propaganda to be disseminated through the mass media, which is wholly corrupted.
Yeah. But this is what I try to do. Like this. So, okay, I'll take your propaganda and I'll even broadcast it, but I'm gonna use my bullshit detector at the same time, and I'm gonna tell people what I think. And I think, like, honestly, I think that's the best way to do it, because they're not going to be critical of their own work. And a lot of other people are going to kiss ass because they want these people to be on their show, or they want some favor of them or whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to hear all the information. I want to hear all the sides. And if I think what you're saying is bullshit, like, I'm going to say it. Like, I think it's bullshit. Yeah, I mean, I've said there's been a lot of times where Corbell has said something and I'm like, that's bullshit. He has to know that's bullshit. Like, there's no way he believes that's real.
So I'm looking at this picture here of George Knapp and the shelves and the boxes behind him. I'm going to say that's a set. That's bullshit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Why would he have a box of AATIP OSAP?
Right. There's nothing in those boxes. He's trying to look like, I mean, who the hell in their right mind would literally just have a room like that as his production room?
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's where he decides to set up his camera.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's old school.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Corbell's the young protege.
It's shenanigans. It's total shenanigans.
All right. I'm going to let him talk here.
Set.
Take a bite of my snack.
You got it. I'm going to go hit the head.
Okay.
Has made no public comment, to my knowledge, about the Kona Blue process, the discussions that were had. She's staying away from it, and I don't blame her. But can you share with us some of what you've already reported and might report in the future about the value that she did see in approving that to go forward?
I can't talk about that because we have to also talk about DHS interests. Okay. And I need approval as we move forward past what the Pentagon has already released. You got enough clues in there, by the way. People just haven't looked at it because they just took AARO's assessment. Oh, let me repeat words from the deputy director here, if I can find them. They were looking for werewolves. Kona was established as the home for all this paranormal UFO crap. Now, isn't that great? What did you expect to come out in their review? Any reasonable person would say, or intel analyst, or civilian intel analyst would say, I'm having the wool pull over my eyes. Well, guess what?
AARO is a disinformation campaign. You're coming to realize by their public statements and how they're talking about a program that you have knowledge of, that they're completely lying to the American public. That is,
well, I wouldn't use the word completely lying. That's not how counterintelligence works. There's some truth, there's some false, but you said it very clearly, steering the direction of the conversation. Because let me tell you, you've been misdirected on the internet time and time again, and people are claiming knowledge of these programs that have no knowledge, but the way they speak is that they do. They don't identify themselves. Of course not, they wouldn't. And also, George, you're having problems, as I understand it, with your computer because of the Russians. You don't know it's the Russians.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that was
That's a
the
really good point.
reported. I've had that thought as well. Staying on the AARO issue, OSAP is this amazing program. You follow the evidence where it leads. You collect a huge amount of data. You write these excellent reports, and all that work, it sort of gets categorized as crazy werewolf poltergeist stuff and dismissed. Then Jay Stratton is head of UAP task force, also does great work trying to find answers to these mysteries that the public is interested in, and then it goes away. And then they create some other interim program, and now we get AARO, and it seems to be completely contrary, directly opposite of all the work that was before it. That's a strategy. It's a pushback strategy. It seems they invite whistleblowers, come on in, tell us your stories. Witnesses, come on in, bring your evidence. Seems designed to identify who knows what, and then dismisses all of it. They dismiss everything, only those whistleblowers and witnesses who came forward, but everything that was done before by you, by Jay Stratton, UAP Task Force. It's as clear as big bloody handwriting on the wall, is it not?
Right. I mean, the 4 books are not, are the public record. The public paid for that information. All the little pittance that I'm earning is transferring and condensing the information. And I told you the other day, basically on the television interview, that it's complete. I didn't omit anything. It just was shrunk in size so it's digestible. Believe me, the 7,500 pages, the monthly reports are not digestible. You really don't want them. Now I'm going to announce and summarize in the next book 2 whole new categories of documents, big documents that were done that have never been mentioned. Yes, the pittance, a little bit of it is in monthly reports, but the problem with the monthly reports, they were to me, and I was easily able to electronically and physically, because I know the documents because I had the 7,500 pages, flip back and forth in time and in investigation. They were overlapping during a month. There was so much going on. Bass was up to speed so fast, which reminds me of 2 things. One is that the 10-month report that has been, the word is stolen. It was stolen. We tried to recover them because of what some people believed was what is called compiled classified information was in them. I disagreed, but that's nevertheless, we recall them. Unfortunately, we never numbered them, which we should have done. And we didn't get them all back. There may be 2 complete bound copies out there. They were supposed to be returned. Anyhow, the cat's out of the bag, but they weren't, they were demonstrating how quickly Bass was up to speed. And there were new projects listed in there that I can tell you went nowhere. They couldn't go anywhere because we were not getting the cooperation that we needed. And in one of them, where we were interviewing people who were involved in UFO sightings, primarily what we call the Northern Tier, the missile silo ones, I'm afraid most of them are gone. They've passed away. We tried to catch the train there, but we couldn't do it. No, he'd passed away. So that part of the program failed, but it was in the 10-month report. It's in the books as we attempted to do it. We were unsuccessful. There were just too many people had died. So, and the other one was, I forgot to write this on the list. This is a real doozy. The Pentagon claimed that more important things were executed with the funding that was being spent on OSAP. It was new congressional money. There was no funds to divert. They either got it for this program, which they monitor, Congress monitored that money literally dollar by dollar. They monitored it very closely, though it's being spent on the right thing. They knew what they were doing at Skinwalker Ranch. The reason it stopped at the end of the second year was Bob Bigelow's bass was too successful. They completed 2 months. They needed a 3-month extension to complete the job, or they would have gotten a third year based on momentum. Since Senator Reed has passed away, I can tell you, he scheduled a phone call with me on basically a secure line and said, "I'm sorry, Jim. There's a good chance I will be defeated based on the way things are going in the 2010 Senate election by Sharon Engel." He wasn't, but he became the minority leader, not the majority leader, because a lot of his Democratic partners were defeated. He said to me, "I'm sorry, we can't give you the money this year. I will immediately."
So he's saying if the Democrats would have got the majority that year, then maybe OSAP wouldn't have died.
Could be.
That's interesting that the
Let's
Democrats
play party politics.
Yeah, it's weird the Democrats would be, you would think that would be something Republicans would want to fund too.
This gets us right back into the divide and conquer situation that.
Yeah, I guess so, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Another reason for us
Par
to
for the
yell at
course.
each other. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, son of a, we don't have disclosure now. It's because of the Democrats now.
Right.
Yeah, it's just they're playing games.
Interested in.
There's one more
the
thing I wanted to
results
get
than
in.
So it wasn't the Collins elite. It wasn't religious fundamentalists in the Pentagon. Senator Reed paused the funding because he felt he had a spy in his office, that information about OSAP could be leaked and be damaging to him in what turned out to be a very close election.
Yes.
And he paused it and wanted to restart it, but he was no longer majority leader after the election. He didn't have the same amount of clout.
Well, he had clout, but
That's pretty interesting, actually. So I hadn't heard that. I mean, why the funding seized up?
Apparently, funding from the government isn't required from this conversation. I mean, we already heard it previously.
Yeah.
That where the government lacks funds, they get it privately.
Right. Yeah.
So
It goes to Kona Blue.
Right.
Right?
And,
It goes to private industry.
Right. And then earlier when he said that the government didn't forward the program and it got canceled, he then contradicted himself and said that it's not stoppable and that private funding came in.
Yeah. And, and that's a great point when he says not stoppable. Like, that's probably true at so many levels. I mean,
Yes.
even if you tell these private companies, okay, stop now,
You
they're
can't.
not gonna stop.
The corporate personship tolerates them going indefinitely as long as they
Yeah.
have the funds to move forwards. And again,
Right.
the government is simply a client who wants these military industrial corporation contractors to be able to manufacture the things that they need when they want to buy them, but it doesn't make them privy to all of the things that they have in their portfolio. The private contractors then are tolerated the ability to then cherry pick which products or reports the government gets, right? Because we saw also earlier that was it Bass or whatever, where they said that we've been 100% compliant because we've given you twice the reports that you required.
Right.
It doesn't mean that that's the limit of the reports that they engaged. Right? 26 reports being twice as many as required for compliance doesn't limit the fact that they might have had 26 more. It really just goes to show that they can cherry pick and that for the amount of money that they have been given, they can accomplish more than the mission required, but it affords them the opportunity to say, we did 1,000 reports. 500 of them showed this, but we're not giving you that.
Right.
We will give you what we choose to give you, and that satisfies our contract technically twice over, because you were only supposed to get 13 and we gave you 26. So you can't even gripe that we've fulfilled our contract when technically we've given you nothing.
Steve Long made a good point. Friend of the show said, reminds me of the 2016 Hillary Podesta UFO push with DeLong that was dropped when Hillary lost the election, which then evolved into a private public venture, TTSA, to the stars. Very good point. I hadn't even thought about that. And it was Podesta, right? They had all those damning Podesta emails. Why are you emailing this punk rocker about classified information and whatnot? He actually got in a lot of hot water for that at the time. All right, I think this is the section that I thought may have been earlier, where Corbell tries to push on McClaskey a little bit.
Does the United States have a physical UFO reverse engineering program? Is that a matter of factual information? Now, you're kind of seen as this Dr. Evil UFO gatekeeper because you don't speak outside of the bounds. You're a vampire, if you haven't heard.
And then he laughs like Dr. Evil.
Right.
But you just said you are for controlled disclosure. So I'm going to remind you and everybody
what we for controlled disclosure.
Weaponized. Almost exactly 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was saying that earlier, remember?
Apparently he's for...
Admitted.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, remember he said he's the gatekeeper, remember? And he's for controlled. He doesn't want the information.
I thought he was being sarcastic, but now this clarifies.
He was being very serious.
And told us, it was in the book, but you said it verbally, that we have a UFO in government possession, that we have an exploitation effort on that vehicle, that we've been successful in at least penetrating the hull. So you've gone on record, and you told us that last time. Now, without going outside of those bounds, do you stand behind this? That we have
a statement? Oh, absolutely.
But let's get more specific than the statement. Do you stand behind that we have a UFO in our possession, and that because that would mean we have a reverse engineering program on that UFO if you breach the hull? That would answer what everybody wants to know.
I can't answer that. It goes beyond what I've been approved to say. And by the way, if you're looking at such a craft, what are you primarily interested in? The craft? The fact that it's empty? Or what in the world is the power supply and the motive force? What in the world is that? That kind of answers your question. What would you really be interested in?
Yeah, well, so because you have studied all of these types
for starters,
of
who made it, and they're ignoring the fact that it could be foreign nations in this conversation.
You would be interested in what drives this UFO.
Yes.
I might be interested in where does it come from if no terrestrial human nation has made it. So I would have a different interest than you would have.
That's a presumption that no human can make it.
That's why I didn't want to go any further in Kona Blue.
And that's why he can't discuss it more.
And it is important because unless you have an infinite amount of funding, you've got to choose what you're looking at. As you know, and George knows, a fair amount of money went into the medical aspect of UFOs in OSAP, much more so than was described. I mean, much more so.
Disclosed. Instead of described, you disclosed.
Someone like me might not, it's not that I wouldn't care, but I'd be interested in how in the world they got here. I mean, what we currently understand.
Well, that kind of how they got here. That sounds maybe not terrestrial.
I can follow that. It makes sense for what you're saying, but yet he's also not being held accountable to said statement, which could also just be alluding and being directed to elude. He's simply asking a question. He's not giving an answer, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't have an answer, which he already previously avoided answering.
Right. Yep.
It isn't as advanced as we'd like to believe.
Which means it's not UFO.
So he said, how did they
It's not
get
off-world,
here?
right? It's not as advanced as we'd like to believe,
Oh.
which to me is an indication that it's on-world man-made stuff.
I'm going to go back just a second. I want to make sure. Okay.
There's nothing.
But
Go
I'd
ahead.
be interested in how in the world they got here. I mean, what we currently understand in advanced physics is it isn't as advanced as we'd like to believe.
I'd be wanting to know, where are the pilots? Who were they? Where did they go? If there were pilots.
Yes.
You said there's no
That's-
wings, there's no fuel tanks. You couldn't, it's not immediately obvious how this thing flew, if it flew. And if it flew under the control of pilots, what happened to them? That's what I'd want to know.
Yeah. And other people, other in the public would want to know too. The OSAP wasn't the end all at all. It was what was it that they say on the old Twilight Zone? There's a signpost up ahead. It's nothing more than a signpost, but Kona Blue is taking the signpost and saying, should I go that way? Should I not go that way? What are the ramifications? Now, then, of course, there's a compartment. If you
Who
chose
made
to
the
go
signpost?
pure technology, you would need the security.
Yeah, he's like almost speaking in riddles there.
Absolutely.
I mean,
It's this again, it still goes to even this whole conversation about who are the pilots and how they're wording this stuff is super peculiar. And
right.
the signpost, I mean, we already know that like the technologies that are man-made are secreted in a way so that, like, you know, if we have super duper secret helicopter and it crash lands in a combatant zone, what we want is to have that be not traceable to us.
Right.
So our enemies have to be doing the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
It's called plausible deniability again.
Well,
So
like we did,
if an
when we got Osama.
unidentified flying object crash lands in our space where we can collect it, first and foremost, it's unidentifiable because, like, like normally when you build a house, you build a plane, and you do things in the normal world, all of those things come with markings on them. Right? That identify this fucking thing's American or it's Russian or it's Chinese, right?
right.
So here's how it works in the super secret world. They contract manufacturers to build things without any of the markings. So the wires don't have the gauges on them written in English that would be traceable to the US. Whereas in Russia, the wires would have Russian writing on it, so that if it crash landed and it had Russian writing on it, we know it's Russian. But if it turns out that the programs from all these different countries are simply telling the manufacturers, don't label the wiring, don't label the circuit board, make it completely functional, but we want it to be benign and nondescript and have plausible deniability so that if our vehicle crashes in another land, it can't immediately be traceable to us, so it will be defined as an unidentified flying object. So this is all that's going on right now. This is what I'm hearing in the conversation.
Yeah, so that could absolutely be what they're saying, and that's what you believe. You don't believe they're talking about a off-world craft.
I don't believe they're talking about off-world craft at all. I believe that they're beating around the bush and dancing around the reality that there are craft that are being found, that are downed, whatever you want to call it, and that they're playing with words because it's nondescript, because it doesn't necessarily say what's going on the crash vehicle. There's no wires that are labeled in Chinese. There's no wires that are labeled in Russian. So then, of course, they can use the vernacular of it's an unidentified, unknown, we have non-human intelligence that we're conversing now.
Interesting. Yes, so Steve says the 26 DIRDs weren't even a product of OSAP. All were written before OSAP was even formed. Bigelow bought them for 25 grand and sold them to justify OSAP's $10 million payout. Great deal for Bigelow. 26 speculative sci-fi papers written by Bigelow's paranormal buddies cost taxpayers $10 million.
Exactly.
Very interesting point.
That's exactly right. Is that it was just a $10 million script that was manufactured for the purposes of producing to the public at the time that they determined was appropriate to Pied Piper the lemmings off the cliff and to muddy the waters of truth to cover for deception.
Well, not the lemmings that watch the Gabriel Speak show, because we don't fall for this shit, right, y'all?
That's right.
All right, here we go. So he's trying to press him on the UFO thing. Obviously, Lacatski is way more experienced, could probably run circles around Jeremy Corbell. Or is this all just nonsense and scripted from the gate?
Otherwise, what's to secure? Because it's an open discussion, and so the public can participate.
So, okay, I mean, just at the core of it, though, this is one of the largest admissions, because you are for controlled disclosure and you're getting things authorized. It is one of the largest admissions in UFO history that you're admitting and announcing through an authorized disclosure that you had to get authorized. It's amazing they authorized it, that we have a UFO in our possession and that we breached the hull. And
that leads me to think that you're 100% right, Eric. Why would they authorize it? Because it's Chinese. It's the
script. It's literally the script.
Yeah.
They're literally saying like you're allowed
things you'd see for common flight. So again, I'm just asking, I know you've already affirmed it, but that is a factual statement under sworn testimony. I mean, you would tell that right to Congress, right?
Yeah, that's what's in the book. They can read it themselves. If they want my hand up, I could do that, but I can't go beyond what is in the text. The next book, I'm not talking about the next one in 6 months. I'm talking about the one that looks at Kona.
So hand up, he can't talk outside what's in the chapters of the book, apparently.
A big decision point on 4 books of OSAP, even though only 1,200 pages, is what's important in there and what isn't.
This is where you get in trouble, though. This is where you, Dr. Lacatski, get in trouble. People say, well, why are you parsing this out in public books rather than testifying to Congress? They're supposed to have oversight of our government. Congress is supposed to have financial and substantial oversight over these things. So if you did testify that we have a reverse engineering program, we have a UFO, and you raise your hand and you say that is factual information, they're going to ask you, where is it being held? How is our money being spent for the taxpayers? Why is it going in your books instead of telling us Congress so we can have oversight?
I mean,
the answer is that he doesn't know because this is a limited hangout. It's contrived and controlled. And the corporations are in charge, and they're the ones that wrote the book for him to disseminate the truth as they want to control the narrative. That's all that's all this conversation is a whole bunch of carnival barkers that are being paid by the corporations and approved by the government to say the things that are in the book, and the only things that they can comment are the things that are already contained in the book, as he stated in this conversation. And if you ask him something that isn't presented in the book, he will not discuss it. He is for controlled disclosure, and therein lies the problem. Controlled disclosure means continued deception.
Right. Yeah. It also means gatekeeping, and it also, when
1,000%.
someone makes a statement like that, I immediately think narcissist. Like, who are you? To say,
Yeah, he's been ego stroked. He's been ego stroked from the back end. You're our guy. We're gonna put you on point. You're so important.
Right.
We're gonna assemble this book for you. You're gonna put your name on it. We're gonna need you to read it. We're gonna need you to become familiar with it. We're gonna need you to only discuss the things that are in the book. You're a really smart guy, so become really versed in this. We're tapping you because you're so smart, and you're our guy. And if anybody asks you anything that's not in this book, you make sure that you don't answer it.
Yep.
They approve that. I put it in there deliberately.
They
I
approve
put
that.
in the 115 books. I was told by intelligence people they'll never authorize those 115 not books documents from DIA. Now, what they're doing now in retrospect is they're denying not their existence. They obviously exist, but that we have them. Well, unless people are deleting electrons now, I had them all reduced to the size of a thumb drive. When I said there were 12 copies, they're on thumb drives. The fact is, they haven't just disappeared. What would be a real bear is for the government, a real bear would be to go through there and clean it. They have electronic systems that can go through there and spot certain things if you know what to ask it to spot. But the thing is
they say that a lot too, is that you have to know the right thing to ask. Otherwise, you're not going to hear about the program.
From your book.
Understood. And I've also never heard somebody supposedly be so smart make such a silly statement as they can delete electrons now.
Yeah, what is it? And reduced them to the size of my thumb drive.
Right. And so this is where we get into these people that are put on pedestals that we are told are extremely smart, but they're actually a very limited intellect, which is why they can be wholly compromised, what it is. This guy is not as smart as he pretends to be, which is why he's become a useful idiot for whatever faction is now Pied Pipering him by his nose. I don't know. So lots of times I look at folks and I wonder, what's their level of compromisability? You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, we should assess people when they get put on our radar. Like, how easily can they be compromised on a scale of 1 to 10? I don't know this guy. I mean, maybe he's got issues in his life. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he's got a handicapped wife. I don't know. But what are the things that can cause somebody to be compromised, where if you have a void in your life, they can fill it, and therefore you become indentured to them? So this guy does not actually sound that smart to me in this equation. There's nothing that he said so far that leads me to believe that he actually has a very high intellect. But what we're seeing in this engagement is that we're supposed to presuppose that this guy's really smart and not simply a useful idiot. Right. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, and it's weird. He spends the bulk of his career in DEWs and lasers, and he's the point man on this. I mean,
and he's not even discussing DEWs and lasers in this conversation, which is apparently his field of expertise.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, why is he
Welcome back to my world, Gabe, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the conversation about DEWs and laser beams and all that stuff, but then people keep bringing it back to UFOs, reverse engineered, unidentified this, NHI that. Why is this guy not speaking in his field of expertise, but seems to have been redirected and Pied Pipered to control the narrative and be a gatekeeper for other preposterous conversations? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, why it should be some Air Force guy in this position, or
he should at least be whistleblowing on directed energy weapons right now.
Something, right? Like, this is totally, it's just weird.
He's currently communicating outside of his lane. This is not his area of expertise, but now he's pontificating on it.
Yeah.
Which
and
I will go back to. He didn't write this book. It was laid at his feet, and he was told to sign off as the author because it's apparently not a book about his lifetime experience and understanding of things.
What this makes me want to do is look into who got him in that position, because I think that is probably more important than him.
Very fair question. Yeah, who put him up? Who put him up to this?
Yeah, because there's no way these assignments aren't just random. When you get put in charge of a commission,
right,
or board, or
absolutely, I would say he was compromised into it. That would be my suggestion. Is that I will believe that most people don't want to do bad things. That there are more good people than bad people, but I believe that presumably good people can be compromised into doing bad things. So just as much as you said, who put him in this position, I would say somebody who knew how to compromise him.
Right.
And how does he score on a scale of 1 to 10 of compromisability? What is the aspect of this person's life that made him able to be compromised? I mean, these are conversations that we all too often do not have, is looking at people and their level of compromisability, right? Like, I'm trying to hypothesize, like, if you had a child that was really sick, and financially you're on the balls of your ass,
right?
That's an angle of attack that somebody could compromise you by. They could say, Gabe, you know what? We see you got this situation. We're going to help you out. You got a handicapped daughter. You can't pay the bills. But we're gonna do what we can to help you. We're gonna put you in the right position. We're gonna dial you into the right people. That's your ability to be compromised in this hypothetical, and that can be taken advantage of. And people may or may not know that publicly, and you may wind up being compromised in doing those things for those people. But this is where, the difference between what we see publicly and what's going on privately, we don't necessarily know.
Right.
Yeah. So I just am paying attention to the fact that people can be compromised. It's very hard for us to see from a public perspective of what's going on in somebody's life personally that allows them to be compromised. But I mean, if we started just simply putting together a list, like, hey, Gabe, let's just brainstorm and put together a list. What are all the ways that a human being can be compromised? How fast would that list grow?
Oh, quick. Yeah.
Right? And then we just have to start paying attention. Well, what do we know of this person? How many things do they have on this list going on in their life? And what angle of attack could a faction show up and fire from to be like, oh, you have this burden in your life? We can alleviate you of that burden. Boom, compromised.
Right.
All you got to do is accept. It's just people offering help, technically. We'll help you with this. If you accept by doing this for us, we can alleviate you of that burden. You alleviate us of this burden. And now we're just colluding. Oh, it's called a conspiracy.
Right. Joshua makes a good point from the chat. Survival instincts take over when the way of life of someone is threatened. Boy, isn't that the truth?
And then we can even substitute the word threatened with compromised.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what he was implying. It's like you can take this information that to that person would just ruin their life. And yeah, all of a sudden that's your survival. You know?
Right.
And you'll do whatever you got to do.
The sword swings two ways. In one breath, they can offer you help to compromise you.
Right.
In another angle, they can offer you hindrance.
Yeah.
Think of all the people out there that aren't necessarily doing good things, right? Skeletons in the closet. Just threatening to expose a skeleton in the closet makes somebody compromisable. How many people have zero skeletons in their closet?
None.
How many politicians have zero skeletons in their closet?
Oh boy, right? Yeah, I think that's part of the when you apply for the job, you have to have stuff they can get you on. I think is how that
I
goes.
had a friend of mine back in the day, and these are his words, okay? What he said to me, he goes, I don't believe that you can become the president of the United States unless they have a video of you fucking a kid in the ass.
Oh boy.
They need to have that skeleton in the closet on you so that you're compromised.
That's terrible.
Understood. And that's why I said, like, it is what it is, but this is what he suggested to me. And like when he said it, like at first I was blown away, but then I was like, wow, there may be some horrible veracity to this suggestion. That in you know, who knows how you're compromised, but in a way, there's certain positions in life that you cannot get to unless you have enough skeletons in the closet so that they can hold that against you in the future, so that they can control you and effectively the narrative.
Yeah, and you know, we need to apply that to all these whistleblowers we just heard from over the last couple years. We need to apply that to people that say they see orbs in the sky and talk to ladies. We need to apply that to this entire field, right?
Right. What's the level of compromisability?
Good Lord. Yeah.
Right? This is a big situation that I think most people ignore wholly, and we should discuss more. Is all of the people that we see being spotlighted and more, right? Everybody, you know, there's so many strangers that show up to us, you know, through the internet and stuff now, and they pretend to be good and helpful, but what's their level of compromisability?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I often think that, like when we'll be in spaces and stuff,
right?
You know, someone will speak up, and I'm like, I don't know who this is. They seem very helpful, but know nothing about them, you know?
Right.
And so, yeah, it's man, the levels of fuckery. It's
deep.
But you know, that's the thing. Yeah. If they have deployed so many resources into this, then you know we're hitting on something they don't like. So
yeah, absolutely.
At least there's that,
which just makes them apply more resources, which they have plenty of.
Right. Yeah. Which
goes back to that whole, you know, that the mass media is wholly compromised.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times a day do you engage with a bot and you don't know it?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, how far away are you from engaging where, you know, you don't even know it, but like you're doing great work, you're putting out podcasts, you're getting positive feedback from real people, but then you're getting all of this negative feedback. Like, how do you even know it's legit in a human being or just a bot farm?
Yeah, 100%. Have you seen those videos of them setting up those bot farms? Holy shit.
Right.
They're crazy. Just huge, just cell phones everywhere. I mean, insanity.
Right.
Oh, buddies. All right. Well, I guess we'll start wrapping this up. So, takeaways from Lacatski. I'll let you go first.
I am just seeing this as par for the course of controlled narrative and gatekeeping. We cannot discount who's in this circle tonight, who's talking.
Yeah.
Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, and the new guy that they're trying to approve.
James Lacatski. Dr.
Right.
James Lacatski.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is just par for the course of a disclosure circle jerk. You're cool.
Right.
I'm cool. We're cool. We're going to call you cool. We're going to call you cool in public. We're going to spotlight you as cool. You have a
Right.
book, by the way. So a book means you're legitimate, apparently. And then the book's approved by the government that you're whistleblowing on. That's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This is part of the farce. This is part of the problem with disclosure, that people eat these shit sandwiches all day long.
Yes. My feeling is pretty damn close to the same. I was excited the first time he gave testimony. Well, not testimony. He came on the show a couple years ago and talked about breaching the UFO. But after watching him today and getting your input, now I'm thinking it's just another bullshit.
I was excited at the front end of this because you said that he had directed energy weapons information to share. He shared none.
No, and there's that paperwork. I'll send you that on the laser stuff, but
But he didn't discuss it.
Yeah, no. And my main thing was like, why? Like, why a directed energy guy? Why are you putting him in that position with UFOs? That was really what I was trying to.
That's what they're doing, is they're credentialing. They're taking people that have a history of supposed value, but they're pulling them out of one lane and shoving them in another.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
And
false credentialing.
Those DEW guys probably are known to keep their mouths shut, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, compromisable.
Right.
They've already yielded to being compromised. So now they're just moving them over a lane, probably cutting them checks. Oh, you're going to get all the revenues from a book you never even wrote. You don't even have to do anything. Just show up, put your name here, say you wrote. Like this is how it works.
Yeah.
We have a pre-approved, assembled piece of literature that you're smart. We're going to need you to read it. We're going to need you to become versed in the vernacular and the chapters. And this will be the ruling guide for how you answer questions. Like, this is why they're tapping. He's a smart guy, right? They need a guy that's going to read the book, that when asked questions about the book, he can answer how the book says. And they need a guy that's from a program that has also proven proficiency in keeping his mouth shut, that if anybody ever asks anything outside of the margins of the book, he will just simply be smart enough to say, I can't talk about that. I'm not approved.
Right. And stay in his lane.
Which is gatekeeping and controlling the narrative, contrived collusion, conspiracy.
Man. Well, so yeah, I think that's a pretty good breakdown of what we saw tonight, folks. A whole bunch of bullshit. There is going to be a part 2. There is going to be a part 2. And yeah, we'll check it out.
Is this when you have Jeremy Corbell on?
I don't. That guy will never come on my show.
Jeremy, tell me why you think Eric Hecker's full of crap. I had him on for part 1, but now I want you here, sir, to tell us the truth about what's going on.
No,
That's what's going on, right, Gabe? You set me up.
I'm with you, buddy. I am not part of the cool group. I am because I won't kiss the ring. You know, I'm not doing that. So, you know, the people that watch me and hang out and watch this stuff are amazing. Like, look at Steve. What does he have to say now? OSAP wasn't a failure. It was actually a massive success. That's why it was ended early. Of course, he cannot show us any of this amazing work they did. We just have to take his word for it. Right. Exactly.
Steve, I'm going to need you to trust that everything is going to be better and the government's going to fix it for you, Steve. I mean, come on. I don't know why you're such a doubting Thomas.
Yeah, and everybody knows anything UFO and UAP related, if it doesn't come from Corbell and Knapp, it's not real. So,
that's correct.
Yeah, that's
and trust David Grush.
Oh, this was fun, Eric. Thanks for coming in and helping me figure this stuff out, man. I really
thank you for
appreciate
having me. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. I'll see you again shortly, buddy. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in. We're going to close out the space. And everyone have a fantastic rest of your night, and we'll see you next time.